Friday. Here we go into the weekend. Working for the weekend, right? Wasn't that the song? I forget who sings it. It's Barney Shynkaruk, probably going to be joined by Chris Mazurek at some point. Dave Thomas is going to come on. What a show. And if you're watching the stream, you see me rubbing my hands together, Mr. Miyagi style, because excited. Tomorrow, the game, and now we got the double-headed monster, whatever you want to call it, in the backfield. We are going to have two running backs coming at those BC Lions. We're going to fill you in when we talk to Dave momentarily. Elsewhere in the show today, NASCAR report. Sharky's on the mend. Sharky's not doing well. Sharky's sick. So we are going to have Dan Croft come in, talk NASCAR with us. Farhan Lalji also in hour one. Let's get the view from the BC Lions side out there on the left coast. Hour two, Craig Reynolds from the Saskatchewan Roughriders comes into studio and joins us. We're not just going to talk Riders with Craig Reynolds. We're going to talk a little bit of everything. And that's where we segue in to high school football as well. He's from Foam Lake. He knows the drill. So many 6-a-side, 9-a-side provincial semifinals going on this week. We're going to run that all down. And then in the city of Regina, we have the city final tonight at Mosaic Stadium. You heard both coaches yesterday here on the Sports Cage. If you missed it, go back and listen to the podcast. It's Campbell LeBoldus tonight, 6 o'clock at Mosaic. Hour three, Luc Mullinder's in. Talk to Luc about the game. What are his keys? We always got to get that. And then, senior hockey is firing up around the province this weekend. We'll get that in hour three as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention in hour two, today's the deadline for the Keniston Super Draft. We have to finish off our Sports Cage entry, and we're going to be joined by a guy that's come oh so close a number of times to winning that Keniston Super Draft. We're going to kind of pick his brain on some of the tips and tricks as we fill out our final rosters for the Keniston Super Draft. It's all for Nelson Holmes on Friday, and we appreciate their sponsorship. Okay. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza on a Friday. You know it. Get the Deuce, the number 2. One of the most popular pizzas out there. Actually, Dave Thomas, we're ordering lasagna tonight. It's a hockey game night. And I totally forgot to make supper before I left the house. Yeah, I was on pasta duty. So Western Pizza, it will be from the north location. Western Pizza, their lasagna is sick. It's just the only thing is like it's so good. Like once I start eating it, I can't stop. At the usual with me at my age, but yeah, Western Pizza. Guest hotline, K Dave. First off, young Curtis here behind the board. I don't know if I've ever seen him as excited as when he said the CFL retweeted one of your tweets. Like he was like a proud dad. Dave Thomas's tweet got retweeted by the CFL. He was high-fiving people and hooting and hollering. But let's be honest, big news today. What people have wanted, let's see both of these running backs on the field at the same time. We might get it tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right. It seemed like since day one when Raquel Armstead signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders that he was going to go ahead, and the fans wanted to see him in the backfield with A.J. Ouellette, and it was kind of a patience thing as both of them had to heal up from various ailments, but both have been healthy, I would suggest, for probably the better part of a couple of weeks now. So now as Rider Nation, we get an opportunity to see what it's going to look like. But of course, it means that the lineup has to look a little bit different as well.
Okay, so dummy this down for me. I know we talked about it earlier in the production meeting. How did they make this work finally? You got to pull somebody out, right? You got to pull an import. You got to pull. There's moving parts to this.
Yeah, basically, if you do the math, there's one player that goes in, and then one player has to come out. That's the simple math. But then there's the ratio that's involved in the Canadian Football League. And so when you add an American player or a non-Canadian that's going to be on the roster, you have to take someone out. So who is not going to be playing this week? It's Aubrey Miller Jr. Now, he's done a terrific job on special teams. He's a reserve linebacker. He's got a number of reps. That is going to be the odd man out this week. But that's not the only eyebrow raiser in the fact that Anthony Lanier also will not be playing this week. He's going to be a healthy healthy scratch in the West Division semifinal is Caleb Sanders, and the guy you had on the other day, and Miles Brown, have just absolutely played terrific. So they played so well that they can't take them out of the lineup. So those are the big ones right now, but it's Aubrey Miller Jr. if you want to go ahead and compare an eye for an eye when you make that roster adjustment to get Raquel Armstead back onto the roster. And of course, Frankie Hickson comes off, which allows AJ Ouellette to get onto the roster as well.
Is that going to affect us at all if we go to like a tight end look, do you think?
That's the big question that I had, because also Peter Godber is going to be listed as the 6th offensive lineman. So he's not returning to his starting role as center. He's come back from that ankle injury. He has been rehabbing it hard, according to head coach Corey Mason. What a lot of formations you'll see with the Rough Riders is they'll bring that 6th offensive lineman into the game as a tight end for their run scheme or whatever that may be. But Peter Godber hasn't played the edge a lot in his career. So that means there could be moving pieces, or as Coach Mace told me, the fact is that they are just happy with having some consistency on the offensive line, and they want to promote that going into this semifinal. So if there is going to be a tight end look, Albert Awachi will get the call as he normally does, but that then raises, well, where exactly are the two of them going to line up if they're both on the field?
Coach Mace. I think I mentioned this to you. Tight end wise, Godber, could we put, let's say, AJ Ouellette there? I know we got Albert Awachi as well. Just because what I'm thinking here is that this is great, right? Like, it's like, yeah, there's been injuries, but it's the old holding the cards close to the chest vest region. And now it's like, hey, surprise, BC. We got them both, and we're going to show you some different stuff here.
Well, what might be, and again, this is all speculative on my part because we didn't see a lot of reps. We did see both running backs carry the football a number of times throughout the course of the week, but we didn't see any indications formation-wise with them both on the field at the same time that I was able to decipher.
So no, like, split back, like you and I played high school, like old school?
No, none of that, or I formation stuff. That wasn't there either. But it's interesting. If you talk to Trevor Harris, one of the things that he consistently says about AJ Ouellette is that he's one of the best blocking backs that he has ever played with in pass protection. So if you're going to bring him in, there might be an opportunity to line him up on the line of scrimmage. Or the other piece that, again, is so intriguing, Raquel Armstead is a multi-threat back in the fact that not only can he run the ball, he is very physical, and he also can catch the ball out of the backfield. So the possibilities are endless. Could you imagine being offensive coordinator Mark Mueller this week? Like, you've got to be smiling all week knowing that this potential is going to be there and the things that you can do as far as formation is concerned and working that into your game plan. Like, it's not every day that you're going to go ahead and build your roster and look at it and like, geez, I got 2 of the top 10 rushers in the Canadian Football League at my disposal this week.
You know, it's funny. It was, we're talking here, right? And what we can do and where we can move guys. And just the chess game of football is like so much fun. It is so much fun. Not to get away from the Riders by any means, but as a Patriots fan, for years, I watched them come into a game and totally throw the other team for a loop. Whether that was putting Corey Dillon out at wide receiver. Okay, why would you do that? Well, if you're in man and you have, let's say, a linebacker on your running back, and you know that running back can roast that linebacker out on out and up or whatever, Bob's your uncle. Right? There's so many things that you can do, that you can get into. Mind you, the first time I ever saw the Wildcat with no quarterback in there was the Miami Dolphins doing it against the Patriots, and Bill Belichick looked like he was 7 years old and he had no idea what to do. But just the different schemes, the different places you can put. That is the one thing I am like so curious to see how this plays out. And then you talk about it, you got the inside track, like, and we've heard that AJ is unbelievable at blocking, right? Trevor Harris has said it. He's unbelievable at blocking. So that's where I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe do we see him at a tight end spot? with Raquel back there. Dave, it's maybe we do see some split back stuff. Who knows?
Oh, absolutely, right? Like, who knows? And we didn't see a lot through the reps this week, but the one repetition that was consistent is that it was equal across the board. So everybody's going to be prepared and ready to go in. It was a closed practice yesterday where I'm assuming that most of the game plan for multi-backs was put into play. But, okay, so if I'm Mark Mueller, I would love to allow him just to let me call the first play tomorrow. Like, just give me the first one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run a fake handoff inside, a fake toss outside, and then I'm going to hit Sam Emelis deep on the wide side of the field.
Okay, so fake. We're going fake dive,
fake fly sweep,
toss,
and then
I like it. I like it. We just need that protection, right? How many seconds do we need there? Like 4 or 5 seconds? I love it. Dave, you're helping me coach flag football next spring. Maz is here now. Maz has something.
So, Dave, when we got a chance to see Armstead in person in Calgary, and the one thing you mentioned, Corey Dillon out of the backfield or whatever, because he didn't get the game that he played in Saskatchewan when he got hurt, you didn't get his chance to see it live and in person. He was trucking guys. Like, when he had 3 steps, he was running over DBs and linebackers. And that's what I'm hoping tomorrow, if they are going to get him the ball like that in a little bit of space, is that you're going to get a chance to see him just demolishing guys. It takes him, what was it, Dave, about 2 to 3 steps, and he's at full speed. And then he's jump cutting, and then he's just hammering guys. He's a little different than Ouellette because they're both the hammer type. I just think the quickness in the hole type situation that we were able to see in that Calgary game, and you saw it on TV, but he was punishing guys with and without the football, because even when he was just doing his blocking assignments, I'm like, wow, we've got ourselves a real find here. It's just too bad that he got hurt and we haven't had a chance to see him, do his thing. So here's hoping tomorrow it's a triumphant return to the lineup.
My opinion is that he is dominant when he gets to second level. So if the Riders can block up and up front, by the time he gets to that linebacking core, he can run over guys, and that's going to be the key.
Are you drawing up a play? Barney's sketching something.
I'm drawing up Dave's play.
Dave's play?
Right here. That's what I do. Drop plays. I love it. Fake dive. Yeah. We're going to fake this guy over here, create a pocket, and then who do you want to hit deep?
I want to go Emelis. Okay, see, I want to bring Kean Schaefer-Baker underneath, like either the toss back or just that little forward pass underneath. You know the one I'm talking about?
Oh, because you want to pull the linebacker and have him go with him.
But see, they've done that play so many times with Kean Schaefer-Baker coming right under, right, with that little shovel pass underneath. So, fake the dive,
and then Emelis just grabs his guy to make it look like he's blocking, and then it's like, oh, you got away from, and then he just burns up the sideline.
Yeah.
And the nearest guy is standing at Viet Thai. Touchdown,
and
Riders.
Think right about now, Mark Mueller is going, oh, Dave, that's never going to work. Have you not watched
Did we ever get Mueller that picture of him dressed as Reg Dunlop from Slapshot? Because we made it. Did anybody ever get that to him?
I don't know.
Is that what he's wearing to the game tomorrow? Just rolling in style? Coming in with a full playbook?
Okay, so I love it. We're playing video game here. So really, you could give a look to, hypothetically, you talk about how Armstead runs. We know how AJ runs. We know how AJ blocks. Direct snap, Harris, just let Armstead run. Put Harris out at the wide out. Don't even put Harris on the field. There are so many things, man. Flag football season's so far away from me. I'm gonna have to go buy Madden now, just to get the juices flowing. This is so cool. I know we're only talking about the offensive side of the ball, but then let's be honest. Who knows what BC's bringing in here tomorrow? This is a playoff football game. They're professional athletes and coaches. They're going to be scheming some things against us as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think there was a very strong reason why Vernon Adams Jr. didn't come in to that game, 3 weeks ago. And it's because you don't want to show anything, right? Okay, we'll give Nathan another series, see what happens, go from there. And when Nathan Rourke didn't produce, then, okay, well, why would we show anybody anything? Because this is likely going to be where we're going to be in a couple of weeks. So, again, let's keep it under our hat. So, yeah, there are so many different things when it comes to formation. And, yeah, again, these guys are professionals. They know what to prepare for. Like, I'm sure the BC Lions have been watching the injury report and say, okay, Raquel Armstead, we got AJ Ouellette coming back in. Oh, there's a possibility, right? So why wouldn't you?
Sione Tehuma, Suits said the other day when I brought him up, and Rick Campbell had said that he's been the best player from the start of training camp all the way through the season, and he can wreck offensive schemes because he's such a presence on that defensive line. He can take up 2 blockers easily, and he can just shut a lot of things down. And they're going to need that because they haven't been great against the run all year. But Matthew Betts, who hasn't gone off yet, the one thing is, though, is you take 2, he takes 2. That frees up Betts to do his thing and just stunt away. Like, and Suits said,
it takes 2.
It takes 2.
Rob Bass, DJ Easy Rock.
DJ Easy Rock. You mentioned the Halloween dance yesterday or something like that. Remember? Oh, the good day. We're so far off topic. Well, here's where was I getting to here? William Stanback. He hasn't had a great season, but the other thing too is they like to use him, and they may use him. Pete Robertson, underused, underman. He had some great years as a rider. He's been okay in BC, but it's guys like that to be like that just may pop out of the woodwork. And I think if anything, look at last week. I thought even with Shea Patterson playing, and there were some starters or whatever that we were going to soundly beat Calgary because just of who we are, what we know how to do, how we play as a team, and all that. And it just doesn't work that way. It just didn't work. I was like, oh wow, we're in one here. This is not.
Don't forget, guys, like William Stanback ran for over 1,100 yards. The thing was that he didn't do it in 2 games against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Riders are the only team to really stop him this season, as nobody else seemingly could. The Riders held him under 50 yards the one game and under 70 the other. So William Stanback can be a difference maker. He just hasn't found his stride against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And if you're the Roughriders defense and Corey Mace, who is more of a priority for you to stop? Is it William Stanback or is it Justin McInnes, who led the league in receiving? He torched you back in Vancouver in week 5, right, with over 300 yards, as he seemed to have, as again, we're going to see if you're following along at sportscage.com, he seemed to just have his pick of spots within that Rider defense. And then, again, pick your poison is perhaps what I'm thinking if I'm the BC Lions, and which one do you want to stop? Which one are you more strategic in needing to stop? I would suggest perhaps the run game first, but both are equally dangerous.
Well, because you've got Hatcher, Hollins, and McInnes in that receiving core. Yeah, so if you're going to stop the run game and you do that early, the VA will be like, okay, well, I'll just take 2 more steps back and watch this. And it's funny, yeah. McInnes just seemed, and he's such a big receiver, just seems to be open, and they do have that chemistry just to find each other. Remember when Durant used to find Fantus or Bagg or Dressler always at the right time, always open, always in the right spot?
You just got to get to VA, right?
Yeah.
Not to state the obvious. You got to get to him. Now, I don't know whether you kind of spy someone on him, and you give. It's almost like in football, Dave. You know this, right? Sometimes you got to give up something to go at something, and you just hope that they're there fast enough that they can't figure out, oh, that was the hole, that was the miss right there, that was the guy we should have went to. I am so intrigued at this. Yeah, I wish it was colder. I wish we had a little more element action to this, but
Dave, if we go back to that first game in BC, and hopefully that they've coached this out, this won't happen. There was a couple of times there, and it was Malik Carney. I think the ends, when they came down, they didn't stay gap sound, and they committed to the middle, and VA just zipped to the outside. I found that every time we went inside to make that move because we thought we were going to get him, he went to the outside. That's what worries me, because Rourke's not going to get the corner, but VA will. And it's funny because we play zone, we don't play man. Like I said, if he gets around the corner, there's nobody around for 5 to 15 yards. Because there's just nobody there. And like you had said, are they going to game plan? And no, Thurman, you're just going to spy VA. No, we'll give up that, but you're going to spy him so he can't take off.
See, and what a conversation I had with Micah Johnson that really stands out in my mind, and he kind of reiterated it as well today. Now, the Saskatchewan Roughriders haven't recorded a sack in their last 3 games. Ooh. So getting a sack isn't necessarily the only way to get pressure. Yeah, and Micah, kind of what he alluded to was the fact that they need to be selective in how they rush and how they approach. So they can't go ahead and rush beyond Vernon Adams Jr. So you know how sometimes if you're on the end, you'll curl around that outside of the pocket. You can't let Vernon Adams Jr. get behind you or in front of you, because then you're going to get into trouble. So being consistent and being precise with your pass rush is going to be a key for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, because again, you don't necessarily have to go ahead and get the sack. You do need to make him uncomfortable, do need to disrupt his timing, and I think you can accomplish both with a sound pass rush, which I think is what the Riders are game planning for.
So then any football doesn't matter where you're coaching, right? Okay, so then you watch so much tape, you got all the data. You got a minute. He rolls out this many times to this side. He completes this many passes when he rolls to this side. So then you find his uncomfortable side. And then if you're going to give him anything, you give him that side. Or is it the gut? Then you give him the middle if that's his uncomfortable side. Like to your point, the other thing is like, how hard would it have been How hard would it have been to game plan against Doug Flutie, Tracy Ham, right?
Damon Allen.
But teams did it. So there's a book out there, right? You don't have to reinvent it. Like just not telling a lot of people, especially coaches, what they don't know. But for the passive fan, there's a book out there. Okay, this is probably how to play, and then you go through that data. Shoot, I do it in flag football. 3 out of 5 times he rolls right and he can't throw. Well, then we just give him that. Take away the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. The tape is out there. The film is out there, and this team has dedicated themselves to doing that. And I guess we're different as coaches. You may not want me on your staff now, because when I'm doing flag football, the book that I have is a coloring book. So take that.
Oh, there's always booger eaters.
Was it last week we were on the show? So when Dave was talking about his superstitions with what clothes he wears, and he knows depending on the suit jacket what the win-loss record is. So like, what, you don't have to give away your secrets, but tomorrow, are you wearing something with a winning percentage, Dave? Like, how are you managing your crazy here? Like, you've got to let us go inside the numbers on you for a second here. That tie, shirt, pants, shoes combo. Undefeated? Is there an undefeated part of the wardrobe you're rolling out tomorrow?
Okay, so of course I'm going to go with something with a winning record.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
The look on his face, I'm thinking he's going to, it's some sort of undergarment.
No. It's a combo that actually the team this season won 9 games in the regular season. They were 9-8-1, and the variation actually was there for 6 of those wins and the tie.
Right on.
That tie kind of saved our bacon. You know, as much as we hated the tie, that tie ended up being kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
Celebrate the tie.
We hated it at the time, but we love it now. Thanks, Randy.
We're getting a picture of that game framed and put up in the sports cage here. They make the Grey Cup, the tie in Ottawa.
So Dave usually does a social media video before the game where he goes walking, doing whatever. So you'll be what if people are curious, whatever's going to be in the video tomorrow is what you'll be wearing at the game with the good winning percentage?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Game day combo brought to you by Colin O'Brien's Match.
With the number 2 pizza. There you go.
Now, what have you coordinated with Luc? Do you think he is into this crazy? No, I think Luc just wears whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
We get to talk to him at 5 o'clock.
I know we do, but I don't think he overthinks his wardrobe like Dave does with a winning percentage.
Well, let's ask him.
Yeah, no, Luc is all about process. And for me, there's got to be a little bit of luck in your process. So, but I'm sure Luc's got something. I know it.
Okay, good work today, Dave. We usually don't bring you on the day before a game, but with everything that happened today, we had to bring you on. You made Curtis's day. I'm sure you can come and sign that tweet at some point. That he's just so excited about it. Okay, have a good call tomorrow. Have a good sleep tonight, and we'll be listening.
I think I got a sneak peek of Dave's suit tomorrow. Are you ready?
Sure.
Oh, nice and orange. Ooh.
Oh, why would you do that? Are you asking for a meeting with HR? Like, come
That's
on.
from Dumb and Dumber, isn't it? That's exactly
No.
what Jim Carrey wore in Dumb and Dumber, isn't it?
Wasn't it tuxedos? Because Gronkowski and Edelman went. Was that Dumb and Dumber for Halloween in their tuxedos? And they looked
Half a
good.
dozen, 6 of the other.
I've actually never seen that movie. I've only seen clips on.
What? You've never seen Dumb and Dumber?
No, and I've never seen The Godfather either.
Oh.
At this point now, I don't want to see it because that's unique to be like, I've never seen The Godfather.
Sports Cage Nation. Watch the text flow in.
Well, no, what
kind of operation?
Well, no,
are
what
you
kind of?
running here?
There's a lot of people out there like famous movies that people have never seen.
I didn't see Christmas Vacation until about 5 years ago.
Yeah, that movie compared to The Real Vacation sucks. My wife loves watching. They'll watch that over and over again during the holidays.
Okay, Dave, go get some sleep. Order some pizza. We'll.
It's 3:30.
we'll be
He
listening.
has kids.
Hey, do you
His
guys want
kids
to
are
hear the
beauties.
most annoying sound in the world?
Hey, go around to Boilermakers. He's going to pay for it over there. Right on. Cam Neely. See you, Dave. You can hear Dave and Luke tomorrow. We start everything off 1:30. Cooperators football. Countdown to kickoff. Croft Electric.
I bet you these two over here, there's a ton of movies you could bring up that they have never seen either, or a lot of people.
Kickoff is at 4:30
yeah.
p.m. network wide. You always have your say on the Rider Nation roundtable after. Have you guys seen The Godfather? Let's start there. The Godfather.
Can I just venture in and put a wager on this at, what are we at, Sports Select, that I'm going to guess no? Curtis is a hard no already. I already know that. Colson, because he has like 6 brothers or sisters, or what, I'm going to say maybe yes.
Also, no.
Both of you know over there. Okay, so that's...
Have you seen Dumb and Dumber?
Yes, I've seen Dumb and Dumber.
Curtis is coming up. No. Look at the look on his face. He doesn't even need to say anything.
Let's. What kind of movie would Curtis is what kind of movie guy? The Matrix.
Yeah,
Oh.
I've seen The Matrix.
That's the kind of guy.
I haven't seen any of the sequels though.
No.
Just the original.
Rambo.
Yeah, I've seen Rambo.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Star Wars?
Oh yeah.
Karate Kid.
But all 9 Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I've seen all the Karate Kid stuff.
Yeah,
and,
Karate Kid 2 sucked. Like when he went over to Asia. Nah, that was Bush League. They should have done something else there. Karate Kid 1 though.
I kinda like
Shout
how
out
cheesy it
Elizabeth
is.
Shue, by the way.
Any movie with Elizabeth Shue in it. Oh my God, she was so hot.
When you were young,
Oh, and Belinda Carlisle from the Go-Go's, and then she went out on her own. Oh, so anyways, 16 Candles. Have you guys seen that?
I don't think I've seen that.
You've never seen 16 Candles?
Never
Breakfast
heard of
Club.
No.
That's around that era. Let's see. Weird Science?
Yeah, I've seen Weird Science.
Encino Man.
No.
God. Brendan Fraser movies now? Oh my God.
We used to watch Encino Man at Curtis Transo's 3 days out of the week at Bedford Road at lunch. We used to go, and I used to steal Ichiban from him. I'm making Ichiban at your house.
I was no for most of those, by the way.
So 16,
Karate Kid.
I've seen Karate Kid.
but 16 Candles, cult classic. John
Nope.
Hughes. Do you guys know who John Hughes is?
Probably
Made a
Google it.
ton of, yeah, Google it. 16 Candles. Speaking of high school dances. You've never seen that?
Top of my head, I didn't know.
Anthony Michael Hall?
No idea who that is.
Oh,
Does he work at Extreme Hockey and Sport?
God.
Oh,
just-
John Hughes, Breakfast Club director, Ferris
Yeah.
Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller. Like John Hughes.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. Like John Hughes made a ton of those movies.
What movie when it comes on? Like, I don't even have cable anymore. Some people do, or satellite. What movie when it comes on you will watch even though you've seen it probably 100 times?
Forrest Gump. I always watch
Forrest Gump? Okay,
yeah.
that's a good one.
Now, to me, one because sports related is Moneyball. I can watch Moneyball from any point on if I see it come on.
Are you watching that new Netflix on the 04 Red Sox? Where Billy Beane was supposed to be hired by the Red Sox. I just started it yesterday. Made me want to watch Moneyball again.
No, I didn't even know. No, so Moneyball. Just keep going. There's
Semi-pro?
Yeah, God.
That's a good flick.
The other guys, Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, and Step Brothers. Like those are
Yeah.
in there where you like no, you can't.
Old
not.
school.
Old school. If it's not the super edited, chopped down, made for TV version. That just like The Hangover, because there's so many edits of that movie, it's got to be like the original, like where you get the good stuff. Like, not the TBS version or the AMC version. Slapshot's another one. Like I said, we ended up talking about Slapshot a few weeks ago because it just happened to be on. And you're like, well, I got to watch the end of this now.
One of my favorite movies of all time that I will watch anytime, any place, The Burbs. Tom Hanks.
See, Tom Hanks now, it's just Weirdzilla with him. Good actor, but Weirdzilla.
This is our topic for the next 3 hours.
Speaking of Tom Hanks, and I know the answer for you two over there, you're a hard no on Bachelor Party. Both of you Google Bachelor Party. We can go to break or whatever, because do you remember? That's early Tom Hanks. That's Tom Hanks, like early Tom
Like
Hanks.
before Big?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was Tom Hanks in Splash?
Yes.
It's the All New SportsCage. If you're watching that stream, sportscage.com. And as always, we're on the home of the Rider, 620 CKRM. All right, NASCAR report. Sharky's under the weather this week. Send cards, send flowers and chicken noodle soup.
Do we know what's wrong with him?
Lupus. I don't even know what that is. Just a Seinfeld reference. Dave Thomas is at home right now. If he's listening, he's guaranteed laughing.
You probably shouldn't joke about that. I don't
What
know.
is it?
I don't know, but now you can't joke about anything anymore.
Athlete's foot?
Let alone gout. If you said gout, that's one thing.
I have gout.
You can kind of laugh at that. Athlete's foot, yeah. Whatever that was.
Okay, Crofty, it is the NASCAR report for Croft Electric. First off, let's get a rundown on people getting these lights installed. Is there like a massive rush before Christmas because everyone wants them up and then they stay up all the time? Is there a massive rush, or is now the best time for people to call because it's so nice out for you guys to get up there?
Both, yes. We've been doing a lot of quotes and a lot of installs in the last few weeks for the permanently installed holiday lights. Some people even wanted them up for Halloween.
Wait, I was going to say, next door neighbors, last night, their installed lights were orange all over the house. And
then once you're up, you're good. You celebrate everything. Celebrate Rider games. My lights right now are turned to green and white. They've been since we made the playoffs. I've left them up.
Okay, now if you got like some sort of payment plan, like what if my gambling hasn't gone that great this month? Can I buy half of them, put half of my house right now and half later?
Yeah, well, we actually legitimately we do finance, but yeah, we could do some barnyard finance.
Yes.
For you.
All right. Okay, good. Because I'm hammering the Rider game as we speak right now. Okay, no NASCAR though. We were at lunch together. Allegedly, supposedly, somehow, some way, I'm in first place in this pool.
You are. You're currently in first place with 46 points, tied for first with two other guys. But, Barnyard Racing is got 46 points, tied for first place.
Because as we get close to, so we're 2 races left, right? So we got Tyler Reddick in first place in his Toyota, Joey Logano in his Ford in second, Chris Bell in third with his Toyota, and William Byron in his Chevrolet coming in at number 4.
Exactly.
See, it's so funny. Like Joey Logano, so people are like, Bell, Byron, who are all these new guys? Like, what happened to Jeff Gordon? Well, Gordon's been retired for a long time. Maybe you haven't watched a race in a decade, but he's not driving anymore. There's new guys in those those old numbers.
So what are we thinking this week? Like, where are they? Martinsville?
Yeah, Martinsville. Yeah. Not the suburb north of Saskatoon, as I had to explain to some people on the SportsCage staff.
Hey,
that's a racetrack down south.
The Adobe Inn used to buzz.
Martinsville's known as the paperclip. It's the shortest track on the series, and it's actually one of the oldest tracks on the series. So it's 0.2526 miles long. So when you're talking rubbing is racing, this one's going to be beating and banging. There'll be heated temperatures under the helmets and the hoods. The boys will be hot.
Well, yeah, and back in April, Hendricks finished 1, 2, 3 there. So if they could do that, it's funny. Like that rarely ever happens. You get 3 team members coming into all top 3.
Never. I think that was the first time that had ever happened.
Hendricks makes a nice gin. Who do you like here in Martinsville?
Well, and so the big thing about this being is the last race of the round of 8. You know, those 2 spots to go to Phoenix remaining, those last 6 drivers will be beating and banging to get in there. So I personally like Chase Elliott, but that's betting with my heart, not with my head. Because I really like him to get in because he's my favorite. But if I was going to actually sprinkle on it, I would look at Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I'm putting all my money on Tony Stewart. Take that to the bank.
He might be at the drag strip next
I know
door,
Barney doesn't get that joke. Anybody that knows NASCAR to be like, and anybody doesn't to be like, well, okay, what? Forget it. It's Tony Stewart retired about 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, but he used to dominate. And he used to throw punches after races to dudes.
Yes.
He'd be a good senior hockey guy. He would fight you in the parking lot or the dressing room hallway.
Need a headbutt guy.
He threw his helmet the one time at a guy on pit road.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy. I've seen that
Tony
video.
Stewart. Yeah, that's Tony Stewart.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sprinkling on George's boy. Chris Bell?
Chris Bell.
Yeah, that's who I'm going with. All right, Crofty. Hopefully Sharky's back. We'll wrap this all up, and then we'll get Sharky back next week. I paid you the $20 too. You remember that, right?
I do, and now we have witnesses that you paid your pool entry fee. You betcha.
Yes. All right. Croft Electric. They can hook you up with anything you need electrical, and then now the lights. Everybody, you want the lights? Get the lights.
Yeah.
Crofty, stay safe out there hunting.
You betcha, bud. Thanks.
Right on. NASCAR report for Croft Electric, and we brought Crofty on because he's Mr. NASCAR. I want to mooch a trip to Phoenix to watch.
Hey, Rubbin is racing.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, time for another quick break here. We got Farhan Lalji standing by from TSN. We're going to talk CFL football. We're going to talk NHL. We're all over the map. We'll get his movie picks maybe too. Farhan's. We'll give it Farhan's.
Farhan's seen The Godfather. I know it. He has.
Oh, for sure.
I know he has.
It's All New SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. Welcome back on the Sports Cage. Barney Shynkaruk, Chris Mazurek, and Double C's on the other side of the board. Let's bring him in here. Western Pizza guest hotline. My bad. I screwed up the times again with him. Farhan Lalji.
So what time is it? What time is it there? Because you guys don't change, right? And daylight savings is coming.
It's 3:49 right now. Now, some of us, Farhan, have a handle on changing time and not changing time.
We will not conform in Saskatchewan. We're staying. But so then it'll be all screwy next week, Farhan. So be on your toes, please.
All right. I'm here for you, buddy. Riders
going with Armstead and AJ Ouellette in the backfield. How they use them, no one knows, right? But that's a nice little wrinkle to throw at the BC Lions 24-ish hours before the game.
Yeah, a little thunder and lightning for sure. And, when you look at the last time the Lions faced Armstead was here in BC during Touchdown Pacific. He had a quiet day, but BC got out in front offensively, and, it really kind of took the running game out of it, right? So that's kind of where this game has to lie, right? As long as it stays close and they can use both and have that 1-2 punch, I think it can be a real problem for the Lions. If BC winds up being able to get some things done offensively and can kind of mitigate the impact of the running game, that might be the only chance they have. Because if Saskatchewan's got a second half lead, oh boy, this one's Sask can just keep running all the way to Winnipeg for the following week.
We haven't seen a lot of great football out of BC in a while, and that's just stating the obvious. But Vernon Adams Jr.'s back. Hatcher, Hollins, and McInnes all seem to play better when VA was under center. I don't think Keon Hatcher hasn't played his best football yet this season, has he?
No, he hasn't, and quite frankly, I don't think he will until next year, right? When you come back from an Achilles, you can come back and be strong enough in that muscle or ligament to continue to play football. But in terms of having your top-end speed, you can see it in certain moments this season, even when he's caught a big play, that he's protected it even after the catch. So they are better with Vernon, right, just because they've got some juice around him. And, I think they all kind of felt that he got a bit of a raw deal, so they played their best. And look, they did play very good football against Montreal, and I don't buy the narrative that Montreal wasn't trying. I think they were. They might have, sat like one or two guys in that game, but it wasn't a wholesale like what Saskatchewan did a week ago. And they didn't play vanilla defense, right? They brought a lot of pressure. They played the way they like to play, and BC did well. But guess what? I don't think Sask is going to bring all that pressure. I think they're going to try to keep everything in front of them, try to force Vernon Adams to get impatient, right? And maybe generate some turnovers that way, right? And if that happens, that's where BC has struggled. And I think that's what you're going to get from Corey Mason, that Rider defense.
Wow, that would be interesting. So basically let him have a little more time and just play more coverage.
Well, here's the thing. the Lions' offensive line isn't great. And when teams have taken that approach of we're just going to rush 3 and we're going to rush 4, they generally find a way to get home. But when teams blitz and bring 6, Vernon generally can find the matchup. And even Nathan Rourke, right, when they faced Montreal the previous game, and and when Ottawa tried to do that in Touchdown Pacific, like if you want to pressure BC, that's where BC wants to live, right? That's where both quarterbacks and the offensive coordinator want to live. It's when you play coverage, they're not living in that world. They're not comfortable there.
Huh. That's interesting. What teams, and I know the Riders didn't play them well, obviously, early in the year. What teams in the CFL have had success against VA? Because that would be the book, right? That'd be the tape you'd want to watch.
Yeah, well, it's the 2 games before he got injured, Calgary and Winnipeg. And it's not fair to just say have had success against VA. It's have success against VA and Jordan McSimic, right? Because it's also on the coordinator to adjust and put the quarterbacks in the right opportunity to take advantage of what every defense gives you something, right? And so, I chafe at that. Well, VA struggled in these games because Calgary and Winnipeg played off coverage. Well, Winnipeg always plays off coverage. That's what they do. And Calgary generally does that as well, unless they're really struggling and they're getting desperate. So you've got to find ways to take advantage of that. So those 2 teams had success against them, but it's to me it's also success against the coordinator. Jordan McSimic has got to show me that he's willing to screen, sweep, run crossers, and play small ball and make those adjustments.
All right. You mentioned Calgary, and we'll get off the game for just a sec. The big news this week, Dave Dickinson staying coach and GM, and then they fire 3 coaches. That I did not expect. Did that shock you, or did you know there was going to be multiple people walking the plank for the 2 bad seasons they've had?
Yeah, and quite frankly, I don't think they're done yet. And I say that because they couldn't come back status quo. Like, they just couldn't. You couldn't run the entire band back if you want to restore any level of consumer confidence and gain the room back, right? Because there have been some cultural issues in that room where guys just, haven't necessarily bought in ways they needed to buy in. I'm not saying they're not trying or that they're giving up, but you can just tell it's different, and there's a level of staleness to what was being offered before. So in order for Dave Dickinson to come back as coach and GM, Dave Dickinson was going to have to make some significant changes to his coaching staff and in his personnel department, and I think that process is only just beginning.
The Killam one is what shocks me. He was the head coach in waiting. Like, he's put in his time. He's one of the best in the league. Like, to me, special teams wasn't the problem. And the defensive coordinator, but nobody from offense. Nobody. Yeah. It was all 3 defensive guys.
Okay.
If it's
So, I think in the last couple of years, Dave has tried to move away from play calling. He tried that with Mark Mueller, and then eventually he got back in. Pat Delmonico has been the offensive coordinator in title, but he's never really been the full-time play caller. Yeah, you got to call plays the last couple of games of this season, but generally that hasn't been his role. So I think they'll bring some people back, but there still may be a bit of shuffling in terms of roles. And I think if Dave can get the right person there, he'll probably step away from the play calling. And like I said, I think there'll be some changes in the personnel side. But one thing is clear, that roster was not good enough, and that's where it has to start, regardless of who's calling the plays in all 3 phases. And as far as Mark Killam is concerned, this guy is so well regarded. Like, I fully expect to see any team this offseason that's looking for a special teams coordinator to make Mark Killam their first call. And I think he will either be I think he could be the head coach at U of A, right? Which is a really, really good job. He could potentially be the special teams coordinator in Edmonton, right? If they make coaching changes there or what have you. So, and he's an Edmonton guy. So Mark Killam is going to fall forward.
That's what we were talking about. He's just going to U-haul it up to Edmonton yesterday. Okay, so we got 30 seconds. Predictions. CFL. Who's advancing this weekend?
I think Saskatchewan's going to find a way to win. They're going to get out in front early, and we'll put BC in a bad position. I love the way Trevor Harris is playing. I know people want to talk about Saskatchewan's defense and their ability to generate turnovers. I love the way Trevor Harris is playing right now, and that's the focus for me. Not the 2-headed monster in the backfield. It's Trevor Harris. And then you've got, on the other side, I think Ottawa's been struggling so badly. I know they found a way the past game, but I just think that when you look at their recent form, much like the Lions, it's hard not to pick Toronto in that game to advance to Montreal to the Eastern Final.
All right. I'm going to make sure my phone updates the time next week.
I think an engineer at Apple has already looked after that.
At least in my entry. At
Yes.
least in my entry. Please make sure you get that figured out.
Okay. Have a good weekend, Farhan.
All right. Hey, listen, and are we seeing you guys in Vancouver for the Grey Cup?
Listen, we don't count the chickens before they hatch around here, Farhan. We don't want to be like.
All right. But
booked
I'm
and
saying if the riders make it, are we doing the show in person?
That is a really good question. Golf courses are open there. That's the thing that I love about my buddy plays at Pitt Meadows.
Dude, you're a sales guy too. You're a sales guy too. Come on.
Okay.
Call
Sold.
Craig Reynolds. Call Craig
Sold.
Reynolds and tell him to take the cobwebs off his wallet and to get you guys out here.
He's coming in here.
It's actually
he's
he's
in
sitting
like
in the
10
lobby
minutes.
right now. He's coming on the show
Please tell
in a few minutes.
Like rewind the tape. And
Oh, man.
to Craig.
Turf war.
I love it. Have a good weekend, Farhan.
See you guys.
Farhan Lalji from TSN. That's awesome.
Talking smack, and he didn't even know it.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we going to the Grey Cup? I have no idea. We got an hour in. We got Craig Reynolds coming up after news. It is the All New SportsCage. Watching that stream at sportscage.com. All New SportsCage. Oh, look, hard cut on the music right there. Chris Mazurek, Barney Shynkaruk, the double C's, and now joining us in the studio. It's like I love it. It's like having a band, right? You get a guy coming in here and there. Craig Reynolds, we teed it up on social media, joining us on the All New SportsCage. So we have Jamarcus on, right? He knocked it out of the park. Did you catch it?
Yeah, I watched. I listened on podcast.
Yeah,
Nice, good way to pump up podcast numbers. We appreciate that.
He was awesome. Natural, I would say. Eh?
Yeah.
And what an interesting dude, interesting life, interesting story. And is he in the same grade or same high school as Soldier Boy? Like I get that.
Same high school.
Same high school.
Then Soldier Boy put out the song, and in grade 10 was like, peace. Peace out. I mean, never saw him again. Texted him, though, when he was in the Grey Cup. That was such a cool story. Yeah, so kind of big shoes to fill. Literally,
yeah, I know, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. But you're interesting. You're from Foam Lake, Saskatchewan, right? Like
probably the same size high school as Jamarcus.
How many people would have been in your high school?
I think it was about 300. There's about 30 in my class.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 7 to 12 though. So
I'm supposed to ask you what you remember about grade 2 teacher Karen Laird.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. Is that Colin Laird asking that question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mrs. Laird was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy. Like
very easy.
Yeah. And then
it's great too. How hard is it?
And then your dad was in charge of kind of the golf course and the Fishing Lake golf course.
Yeah. So my dad's been like the board chair of the Foam Lake Golf and Country Club for like 30 some years, which I remind him is not like good governance, right? You're supposed to rotate chairs and you're not supposed to be in one position for like 30 years, right?
Anything where you can add the ampersand and then country club on it, you stay in power at that place as long, because you may meet somebody in Vegas. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I run the blah, 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 and country club. Someone would be like, well, holy, we should have dinner together. Let's have drinks.
Maybe that's what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe he gets comps everywhere.
He might.
Yeah,
There's some secret country club group that he's part of.
A lot of people are mentioning, texting in and all that, looking forward to it tomorrow. I think at last check, there was still around 4,000 seats available. Like we need people coming to this game tomorrow, not to state the obvious. Weather's nice. Saturday afternoon. Excitement.
Yeah.
And you guys have done everything possible to make it affordable.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, we want them there. We want them loud. Most importantly, we want them loud. Like, I can't even describe to you the competitive advantage it is to have a loud crowd there, right? So like the guys talked about it all week and the lead up to it. Like it's why you want a home playoff,
because you can't game plan it.
No.
And when the crowd kicks in, nothing the refs can do. It's not illegal. It's not.
Yeah. And we're handing out noisemakers, so we're trying to stoke those flyers. But
I saw that the first 15,000 people through the gates at Mosaic get the Believe banner bangers.
Yeah. I didn't know what that was, but then they showed me what it was, and it's like you literally bang them together, but then you can hold it up. It's a sign too. It's like got a belief sign. It's kind of cool. So it's a sign.
I would love to meet the sales rep that comes around in a minivan to be like, "Hey, you want to buy about 15,000 banner bangers?" To be like, "What? Just a sec. Come in my office. Let's go."
I should have brought one by, but when you guys see it, you'll be like, "Yeah, that's a banner, and it's a banger." So it's a banner banger. Like it makes complete sense when you see it. But when I was first told that, I'm like, "What are we doing?" So
I think it's the same sales guy that sells the rugs outside the van. on the corner, the wolf print,
Oh,
print rug guy.
Well, if you're doing the rugs and flags, you can't just go. You have to diversify.
Yeah,
you know the van guy, and then there's also the guy selling golf balls and seafood out of a van on the side of the road. You can't get enough of those. Hey, isn't it just nice to be? It's this time of year, and we're talking about football. We're not talking about off-season stuff.
No.
Like we just had Farhan Lalji on, and the Dickinson thing, one thing, and 3 coaches, and now just like that's all the off-season. It's nice to be talking about football still.
So nice, especially after we had a tough couple of years. We gotta recognize I got a little PTSD, so I don't like to go back in time. But we had a couple tough years where we were in off season this week, right? We were planning for next year, and last year we were in a coaching search. So it's so nice, it's so refreshing. There's so much energy around the team right now. You feel it in the community, and you feel it across the province. Really, I feel in the office for sure. Like that, our office was just buzzing. Whether it's the ticket office they were grinding this week. On the phones, working the phones. So many people coming in, getting tickets, having conversations. We had. Jamarcus was on working the phones for us. He was calling season ticket holders. He was making sure they're coming to the games on Saturday. So it's really nice. It's so nice to be back in the playoffs and have that excitement and that energy around it.
The excitement and obviously winning brings that too. But Coach Mace brought that from day one, right?
Yeah, you guys kind of hit a home run there when you get nominated for Coach of the Year in your first season that you're hired.
And so well deserved. Like he will sort of say it's an organizational, award, and I can sort of talk about him, right? Like he has been as advertised, and he is so deserving of that award. Just the energy he's brought to the organization. I would say the energy he's brought to the province, right? And you just see it day in, day out, how he relates to players, and just how he's so genuine, and he's just an outstanding coach and an outstanding person too.
I love his interviews. It's an organizational thing.
So
we want to know.
We were at,
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Interesting story. We were at Mosaic, and because we're a partner of the team, there was all the other corporate partners there, and I happened to wander into Mesa's office. He's sitting there, and I said,
where was security at that time?
Just the west side in you, or what? Just him wandering into offices.
So this happened once, and it hasn't happened since. So we take advantage of those opportunities.
Your picture is up
right? Well, exactly. Well, it came down to it. Corey could have escorted me out of his office at any time he wanted, because I don't think that'd be a fair fight. He'd just be like, "You need to go." So he goes, I introduced myself, and he goes, "Do you know a guy named Brian?" And it's this guy Brian, and we mutually work with, and it's this gentleman. And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I got to know him, and he was this Brian." He said used to be a waiter at the Keg, and when he'd go to the Keg pre-game meal when he played in Calgary, and they became friends, and they're still friends, and they keep in touch on LinkedIn. So he's telling me this story, and I'm like, that's not normal. That's a unique story of a guy. When do you ever become friends with the waiter at the restaurant where 10, 12 years later, you're still friends, you're referring to him, real well, and after that, I'm like, wow, this is a really interesting dude.
Yeah.
And I knew right then he wasn't going to throw me out of his office.
No, he's not that type of guy. No, just an amazing person, amazing coach. We're lucky to have him. Obviously we're really excited for him to be the West nominee as Coach of the Year, and he's been everything we'd hoped for, and then some.
The coaching staff that he's brought too, right? Like obviously Mueller, a lot of hype. Edwin Harrison, like when I talked to Coach Mace on Monday, I'm like, what that guy's done this year. And we've had him on here a couple times. Seems like an absolute beauty as well. Fits that mold.
He does, yeah, and they're a very tight knit group, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them, there's a lot of connections there. They've either played together or coached together in the past, whether it be Calgary or Toronto, and yeah, that's such a big part of it, right? So when you're hiring a head coach, they're presenting to you who they expect to bring and who their staff's going to be, and that's a huge part of the evaluation, because obviously, you want to hire a good head coach, and I think we hired a great head coach, but the quality of the staff he brings is as important, right? It's a really important part of it, and he's just brought a group of outstanding coaches, outstanding people, and our players relate to them. They've done such a great job coaching. Like Edwin's just one example, but they've all sort of had those moments. But what Edwin's done, given the amount of change and turnover in our offensive line, has been really outstanding.
Well, I think turnover is an understatement. When you're on your 13th offensive lineman, that's a football miracle that you're still. And
like there's video games that you can play that it wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But look at the sack numbers this year, because the past couple seasons we were in like the 60s and 70s, and this year never an issue, not brought up. There's maybe a bad game here, but it's just such a non-factor. So to take that many individuals, and some of them that weren't in training camp, joined the team, and then they are into the system or whatever. So, I mean, hats off. Some other things that are going on tomorrow, and I want to ask about this. Before you signed off on the band Icons, the Kiss Experience, did you demand any songs to be played? Because I either want to hear Heaven's on Fire or Lick It Up.
Heaven's on Fire? What B-cut is that? I don't even know that song.
Well, that was when they weren't wearing makeup, but it's a banger,
Is that a
though.
breakup song from like your past?
No.
Okay.
Colson, bring it up. Play Heaven's on Fire
No,
by
we can't.
Kiss.
We'll get kicked off.
No, so we
YouTube.
play 10 seconds or less on the stream. YouTube won't kick us off. They're busy. They got an election to monitor in the States.
Where are they from, this band?
Icons?
That's a good question. I've
never heard of them.
I think there's Saskatchewan based. I'm not sure if
really?
they're from here.
Yeah, they're a Kiss tribute band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a
I
tribute
heard
band.
they're awesome. That's why I thought maybe they're
That's why I'm wondering if you demanded before you signed off on the contract that you had a song or two on the set list that you said, boys, if you want me to sign this, you're playing this song.
I did not actually. I'm actually not a huge Kiss guy.
I wasn't either.
But I'm excited to hear them. I really am.
Well, now that it's kind of older, now that kind of Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley are kind of more caricatures, and they've had the reality shows and stuff, because my sisters who are 9 and 10 years older, they were like the Kiss fan just because of the thing. Same with Queen and those bands. And I didn't discover that till like later, and then you realize, like you're...
What I like about Kiss is sort of the pomp, right? Like the costumes and just everything that comes
Little bit of
along with it.
cheese.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of cool. So, and Gene Simmons, he's in Saskatoon all the time, right? So,
Yeah,
I know. Well, because his wife went to Mount Royal High School.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, and the other thing, I had to explain to my mother-in-law yesterday, like Elon Musk's mom is from Regina.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people don't know that. The fame and celebrity that goes along with Saskatchewan.
Good chance they're not playing Beth. That might be my favorite Kiss
No,
song. Nice,
nobody
slow
wants to hear Beth
Yeah,
at
I
a
know.
football game. Could we close it down with a ballad, please?
You probably had inside info, but how excited were you finding out that Armstead and Ouellette are going to be suiting up?
I was pretty excited. I was pretty excited when I heard that was a possibility of getting them both on the roster, and it took a little bit of roster juggling, but Jeremy let me know they were going to try to do that sort of at the beginning of the week, and I was like, I like that
because before the Calgary game in Calgary, we were talking where Armstead was going to play. Nobody had an idea he was going to run for 200 yards.
Yeah, just an incredible game. Like literally to come to the team early on that week and to absorb the offense and go out there and put on that kind of performance. And then unfortunately, the next game he was having a good start to it.
I know, and then he got hurt. I said that earlier in the show that Rider Nation really didn't get a chance to see live what he was doing, because in that Calgary game he was trucking guys. Like you give him 2 or 3 steps, he's at full speed and he's running guys over.
Yeah, it was very impressive. So I'm really looking forward. There's so many things I'm looking forward to watching tomorrow, and obviously it's a nervous time of year. It's an exciting time of year, but I'm looking forward to watching how they deploy those guys.
Of course, we're getting some text messages here on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. One was about your cup flipping. Pre-game party in Vancouver. You let the team down or something?
I did. Was he a member of the team that texted you there?
Steve?
Yeah, I think Steve was on the team.
Like you guys were playing flip cup?
We were. So the Lions do this watermelon bash event, and so we have to. So we put together a rider team. So tons of our fans go out there. Obviously, we have tons of fans in BC, but tons of our fans actually travel there. So it's the second year in a row we've done it. So you go around and you recruit a bunch of Rider fans, and then we take on a bunch of Lions fans, and there's a whole bunch of different competitions. And so we were all tied up, and it came down to Flip Cup, and my team just nailed it. So I was the last one, and my team just nailed it. Gets to me, and I cannot flip the cup.
Right? Have you done it a lot before this?
Well, back when I was like in my 20s, for sure.
Yeah, like a red
but I was a
Solo
little rusty, right? I'm not playing Flip Cup on the weekend nowadays with two teenage kids. Yeah, I'm nervous. So I'm not gonna. There was cheating going on the Lions side. Let's just be honest. Dwayne Vanneau over there, he was cheating. They were cheating over there.
Don't call the command center, Craig. I don't think they're on our side.
They did not finish their beers. Anyways, but we had built. I felt so bad. I let the team down because they had built a nice lead. So we don't do it, and then over there, the Lions get it and they celebrate. And literally, the next thing I do, I flip it, and there it goes.
I learned the hard way at O'Shea's in Vegas. My cousin Derek and we went down there, so we played beer pong against these guys, and we lost. And they said, okay, now, but we'll take it easy on you. We'll play Flip Cup for what's left. Okay, then if you got to drink the rest as fast as you can, and we lost that too. And God, it's just a wrong way to learn how to play a fun game when you're like this is, and it was like Busch Light beer, and it was terrible.
And you guys were drinking beer, probably a nice Pilsner, and I can see the Vancouver, the cheaters, like they probably had soy milk.
Well, I don't know, but there was residue in their cup. Let's just say they didn't finish it.
They didn't finish their IPA.
Yeah,
good one here, Aaron from Yorkton. Shout out, Yorkton.
Yorkton,
yeah.
Know it well.
Say hi to Craig for me. He want to know if he thinks that merchandise sales are way up this year.
Way up, yeah. and we're wearing it. We're wearing it. There's one primary reason. I think in general, I think there's a lot of good excitement. We've seen really good store traffic.
The Indigenous
logo was outstanding. We sold those. We sold out of those rapidly. But the Obsidian jerseys, the Rider Nation alt uniform has been just incredible in terms of the response and the number of sales on the jerseys, and then the merch, right? Between the hats, the shirts. So it just, for a while there, we'd put something on the shelf and it would just be gone.
I know, because the hoodie he's wearing, I can't get one of those because they don't have them anymore.
Yeah,
no,
they didn't. They only had them for 2 weeks, and I didn't get one because we went there. We were there in the store one day, and they had too small and too big, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's not back.
No. Wes Cates, I had one of my sideline hoodies on, and he was sharp last week, and then he had the white Indigenous logo hoodie
I saw him, yeah.
Underneath a sport jacket. It looks so sharp.
I could see that.
Yeah, he did. When I walked in, I was like, damn, Wes Cates, whatever.
Wes is a sharp dressed guy, though.
Yeah. Luke too.
Luke too. Yeah. Luke too.
Both those guys. Let's take a quick break. You're gonna hang around for a little break. Craig Reynolds joining us here on the All New SportsCage for Nelson Holmes on this Friday. If you're watching that stream, you see the three of us. We're having a lot of fun. SportsCage.com, and as always, the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. You've been itching to talk Halloween even last night. I don't want to go back here, but about this.
Well, no, because you were talking about yesterday. Now, as kids of the 70s and 80s, and Craig Reynolds is here, you can jump in. There was always the person that would give you bruised apples. There was always that weirdo. The popcorn ball lady. There was a lady that gave pennies. Mm-hmm. There was a person that used to give out little religious psalms or little religious things and stuff. That's not candy. Nobody really wanted that, but that was it.
But I was gonna Chikai. Foam Lake. What did you get as a kid in Foam? Because Dave Thomas in Weyburn, a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
he had full size Duncan Hine deep and delicious cake.
McCain.
Really?
McCain cakes.
We were getting a lot of popcorn balls. As soon as you said popcorn balls, I'm like, that's it. That's what. Yeah. We'd come home and there'd just be popcorn ball after popcorn ball, homemade popcorn
chunks
balls.
Of Kubasa?
No, I wish. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh yeah.
Pierogies?
Well, it was funny taking the kids trick-or-treating last night because there were a lot of houses that were they were just setting the candy on the porch with a little sign, just take one, happy Halloween. They weren't even coming to the door. And now today on social media there's a lot of ring cam footage of people coming up and taking the whole bowl and dumping it in their bag. But anyways, so there's this has gone viral. There's a couple in Calgary. For years they were giving out 2-liter bottles of pop to everybody coming by. But the economy is tough, so they couldn't afford it, so they said they're going to shut it down. This was on Instagram a month ago. So then I think it was Pepsi, that came through and loaded them up, and then they got Old Dutch as well. So roll the video here if you haven't seen this. If you're watching on the stream, their house is completely full. Look at the garage here, full of Old Dutch chips. Okay, wait till they go inside their house. It's completely full.
Are you kidding me?
And then watch when they go in the living room here. Here comes the pop.
It's Coke.
It's Coke, sorry. That's A&W root beer. Look at this. And then they do a slide. They have a slide out their front door where they slide this 2-liter bottle of pop down and it shoots, and he's wearing a Travis Kelce jersey. We should get him a Rider jersey. I'd say we need to find this guy and send him a Rider jersey. Look at this.
Kidding
and then
me?
they slide it down that slide out their front door, and it shoots off this pipe. I wonder how many kids got injured getting a 2-liter bottle of pop to that. But I would take that punishment.
Be worth it.
Could you imagine that as a kid?
Yeah.
They have a lawyer as a sponsor, or is he a lawyer? Or
wow. What did you hand out last night?
Mixture, some Twizzlers, mostly those little chocolates and sour candies too. I think were in there. So it was just one of those ones you reach in and you get what you get, right? Yeah.
A rookie mistake. I was giving out way too many early, especially the little kids, right? So cute.
You have to.
And then the bucket about 8 o'clock, I started looking at the bucket and I'm like, I'm going to run out. So I'm like thinking, I'm like, okay, I got microwave popcorn. We got pop, cans of pop all over the house. I'm like, hey, those Modelo's, no, those can't go. But I'm just looking at different things. I'm like, I'm going to have to scramble here.
I had the opposite problem because I wasn't being stingy, but I was given a little bit. And then these teenagers came like late, about 9 o'clock.
No,
and I had so
that's
much.
too late.
And it was a little late, but I had so much. They just got handfuls of handfuls.
At least the Thursday nighter was an absolute dud. So it made it worthwhile handing out.
Yeah, the only highlight of last night's game was Malachi Corley, who I'd never heard of. The world had never heard of until he dropped that touchdown on the half-yard line.
Well, and the Wilson catch though was pretty.
Well, that was luckily that came back because I'm like, Aaron Wilson, this is not early in the game. I'm like, this is not turning out well for you.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep you here for our feature on high school football. Play it, Colson.
The All New SportsCage is proud to present Friday Night Lights, our in-depth look at high school football across Saskatchewan. Friday Night Lights is brought to you by Regina Motor Products. Take advantage of their winter tire swap. Save up to $20. Book today.
Maybe we can go around the horn here and just kind of get some predictions. So it's tonight at Mosaic Stadium, 6 o'clock. Leopoldus and Campbell City final.
Campbell. Both my kids go to Campbell.
Oh, okay. I heard their quarterback's like super athletic.
Yeah.
And Leopoldus is young. Like Leopoldus is going to be a wagon for a few years here. Okay, let's go. Melfort Lumsden is like the 9-a-side game of the week. Both of these teams are good. Any prediction there?
Yeah. Mustangs, right? Melfort Mustangs? No, that's the hockey.
That's the hockey team.
That's hockey. Melfort.
You're going to take Melfort?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go Lumsden.
I'll go Lumsden just because it's on the way to Craven.
Delisle Tisdale.
I got to go Delisle. Isn't that where the divided highway starts, is in Delisle?
No, I don't think they need to do that around Delisle. Hafford Lemberg. Hafford's pretty good.
Yeah, Hafford.
I'll go Hafford because if you said Lemberg and we had to throw darts at a map, I'd be like,
I'm going Lemberg. Just the Mass family out in Lemberg. Love them. St. Brew and Hanley.
St. Brew. I know where St. Brew is.
Yeah.
Been to St. Brew a couple
Manufacturing,
times.
was that Bordeaux?
Yeah, because that's east of PA, right?
By Melfort.
No.
Well, that would be east of PA.
Yeah.
Kind of in the general area.
It's west of Melfort.
Okay.
Yeah. You going St. Brew?
Remember, I was telling you my brother has a cabin at Greenwater, which is by Melfort.
I'm going Hanley just because he used to hand out bread for every fill-up at the gas station there. My Baba and Guido lived in Waka. They're taking on Southie Cupar, Highway 22 Storm. Another big matchup there.
Southie.
I'll go Waka just for the crazy reference that you threw in.
Yeah. They used to have a nice kubasa at the crossroads there as well. Clavette, Rosetown. Clavette's really good.
First radio job was in Rosetown at CJYM there. That was the smallest radio market in Canada, only 1,000 people.
I worked in Shaunavon. That was a satellite station.
That's a satellite. I was a satellite station, so that doesn't count.
Who do you like, Clavette?
I can't pick Clavette. They were like our rivals in basketball back in the day.
Okay.
I've got a
Rosetown, home of Banner Barn, the hockey rink. Then we get into the 5A 12-a-side. PA Carleton, Regina Johnson. We're all going Johnson. Yeah, we're going Johnson.
Yeah, last time I was in Prince Albert, I have to say, it's not how I remember it.
PA Carleton's a massive school.
Yeah, it's a big school.
Well, there's only
really
two of them
school.
in the city, right? There's the Catholic school and there's Carleton.
Carleton's big.
Mike Medano, alumni PA Carleton. But I'm still going Johnson.
I'd love to see his GPA. Okay.
And then the upset. Some would say upset. Moose Jaw Central over Greenall. Sorry, Colson. And Scott Schultz last week. So Moose Jaw's taking on Bishop James Mahoney from Saskatoon, the Green Roof School. I'm going Moose Jaw Central.
Yeah, Scott Schultz, home of Scott Schultz, alumni.
Yeah, I'll go Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
The Band City.
We will recap everything on Monday. Thanks to everyone who's sending in those emails to hi@sportscage.com on high school football, Friday Night Lights. It's all over the place. Tomorrow, right before the Rider game, I know a lot of people are going to watch high school football.
Well, and the best part is that the weather is still decent for them to play, because there's nothing worse. You get into this time of year, it's iffy. It could be anything. It could be a day like today. It could be minus 15 and snow. And you feel, it's one thing when you're a pro and you're getting paid, and that's not fun. But when you're a kid, or you're the mom or the dad or the brother and the sister, and you're sitting in the stands trying to support, you can only drink so much hot chocolate to keep warm.
And
then you switch to something else.
There's not hot chocolate in those Yetis, Maz, these days. But everybody responsibly, because then you got the rider game, and you can get the family pack, 2 kids, 2 adults, $99. Pill Country sold out yet? It was close.
Yeah, it's really close. If it's not sold out, it's imminent. Yeah,
$35 to go get crazy in Pill Country.
And the one thing is, though, these are the exact same prices and deals in the regular season, so nothing's been raised for the playoffs, which is kind of unique to be like, because normally when playoffs come around, hello Dodgers and Yankees, look what you can do to your ticket prices. How important is that as you guys as an organization to be like, no, we're treating everybody. We're all year. You've been with us. We're not changing now.
100%. Not even a debate or a conversation, right? So we want to make sure we keep things affordable. The family pack's been really, really popular, and you get family of 4 in for $99. Youth 50% youth off youth tickets in white to silvers, so that's another way to do it. So and then Pill Country is almost sold out, but we still have a lot of whites around Pill Country and in the end zone as well. So really affordable seats, like $37, $40, all in. It's
and $5 happy hour. $5 happy hour up until a half hour before kickoff.
Half hour before kickoff. Yeah.
So then you can go stand at the stage, and so when the Kiss tribute band comes on, you can ask them to play Beth, Barney.
Well, and we got a DJ pregame as well.
I know.
Yeah,
so you can get in. You can scream at the DJ to play Beth, the remix.
Rob Bass and DJ Izzy Rock. Now I got that in my head from today. But the $5 beer, funny story. My wife saw it and she's like, that must be wrong. And I'm like, no, that's the special.
You can't get $5 beers anymore, not in this economy.
No,
we're not getting political
hard.
here, but
it's
I'm just to say it's hard to get a $5 beer somewhere.
No, it is. No, it's been really, really popular, and we got the DJ coming in, and then we've got we want to have a rider rally in Harvard Studio 620. So we got some players doing autographs. Jamarcus and Sean Bain,
2 to 3.
Yep.
I'm going to that.
Autographs.
Yeah. I'm going to get my drink on.
Yeah, we want to get everybody into the stadium early. We want that bring them out. We want everybody there. We want the energy high, and so we got the DJ getting everybody excited. We got an indoor sort of pre-game sort of tailgate in Harvard Studio 620. So it'll be good. Get everybody early there, jazzed up, ready to go, and ready to be loud and bring the energy.
Over under how many shirtless guys in Pill Country tomorrow? Once the sun goes down.
Got to be 10 plus.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. There's got to be crazy in there.
What do you think?
I remember, because it takes a certain individual to be the shirtless guy. I was never that. I was asking Dave Thomas, were you ever a shirtless guy with a number or a letter painted on you? He said he wasn't, but there's always those guys. You're going 10. I'm going to go 7. Let's see, RIDERS. You got to at least spell riders.
Yeah. I remember the game. It was the Packers and the Giants, and Tom Coughlin's face froze, and like he had the wind burn, and it was so cold in Green Bay, and there was legit a guy that stuck it out shirtless. I don't know if he made it through or what happened to him, but yeah, the Rider fans are. It's going to be crazy in there. It's a Saturday afternoon.
Because somebody had said on the text line here, just say, hey, we've heard you guys talking about the game tomorrow in Regina. Don't forget there's a lot of us that would love to be there in spirit, and we'll be watching and listening and doing 100%. All of that.
Listening on 620 or watching on TSN, right? Yeah, I think the TV ratings for this game is going to be really big. Really big.
Yeah, it's funny when they put out the stats. Wow, it's amazing who's always leading the league in eyeballs when it comes to anything.
I know of 2 weddings tomorrow. Unfortunate, right? You got people just can't get here for other things. Senior hockey starting tomorrow. A lot of teams are backing their games up to 8:30.
Cool. Awesome.
Raymore is doing that.
Oh, are they? Excellent.
Yeah. So just because they know so many people want to go, they want to go. And I'm thinking a big walk up tomorrow. People are still that's the province, that's the city that we're in. Walk up, and then people are still, they never trust that weather until right before.
We've been having big walk ups all year long, right? Yeah. Other than Labor Day, which sold out in advance, like every single game, we've just seen incredible volume day of. So yeah, I think with the weather the way it is, I'm with you. And
people go early too. Get some obsidian green. Is there a lot in the pro shop?
A lot, yeah. we're loaded up. We got winter gear. We got toques now. We got.
And for anybody
mitts
with hair, maybe you dye it like AJ Ouellette. Sadly, I can't participate unless you're selling wigs tomorrow. But
that was the big story on Tuesday or whatever. Everybody was talking about it. Have you heard the big story? And I was like, what? And it was AJ's mullet color.
My daughter,
mullet color.
My daughter met him at Country Thunder, so then I was scrambling for a Halloween costume. She's like, "Where one of Mom's blonde wigs from old Halloween could go as AJ Ouellette?" And I'm like, "It's not blonde anymore, Gabby. He dyed it." So, thanks so much for coming by.
Thanks for having me, guys.
This is and doors always open, like I said, for anybody in the organization to come by. Let's get it. Like Coach Mason said, you gotta go get it.
We gotta go get it tomorrow. And let's get loud tomorrow. Let's get real loud.
Craig Reynolds joining us on the All New SportsCage. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more high school football as we go along. We also got to talk Kenniston Super Draft. We're going to shift it to hockey. It's the All New SportsCage on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM. All New SportsCage. Thanks to Craig Reynolds for coming in here. A lot of fun. Maz and him are still out shooting the breeze out of the studio here. If you're just tuning in, driving home, I think there are just under 4,000 tickets at last check left for the game. It's going to be a good one tomorrow. And the big news, a lot of you wanted the two-headed monster in the backfield, and you're going to get it. Raquel Armstead and AJ Ouellette both in the lineup for the Riders. Our Dave Thomas caught up with Armstead today.
Raquel Armstead, I know that patience is a virtue, but how good does it feel just to get into this lineup after waiting to return to the roster?
I've been waiting my whole life. I'm very excited to get out there, get an opportunity to play with my guys, and just do my 112th. Our goal tomorrow is to win, and we're going to do that at any means.
So how will it be with you and AJ Ouellette?
Very dynamic, but I guess I'll leave y'all to see it tomorrow.
So what do you feel you bring as a duo to this offense?
We bring a lot of intelligence, understanding and love for the game. AJ's a very powerful physical back. I'm a very powerful physical back, and we can do it all. We can block, we can catch and run. So just to be able to, when you're tired, get spilled, or, him go get a blow, that's going to make everything better, and it's going to allow us to be more free out there and, play with more effort, energy as, you're confident in the next guy.
One of the things that AJ Ouellette takes a lot of pride in is his pass protection. Tell me about the importance of that tomorrow against BC.
That's the biggest thing. I know you guys are excited about the run game, but like I said, we're here to win. How that looks, if we got to throw the ball 60 times, we will, and we'll protect Trevor Harris, and that'll be our job. So I'm just excited to see how this game goes, and ultimately just win with the guys.
Oh yeah. That is ultra exciting. So Dave also caught, because I was very curious, and if you caught the beginning of the show, the first hour, if not, you can go back and listen to podcast form, because we talked about how this all came about, because we've wanted it for so long. Both players were injured, but there was some juggling. Dave talked to head coach Mace about that.
Coach Mace, there's a lot of buzz in Rider Nation for getting both running backs in AJ Ouellette and Raquel Armstead on the roster for tomorrow's game against BC. How'd you do it?
Yeah, it was something, obviously since bringing Q in that, we knew could be an option for us either later in the season or to push in the playoffs. But you wanted to make sure, see them work throughout the week, make sure that they're healthy enough. And, you had to make some different situations. Obviously, guys, unfortunately wouldn't be able to play this game, and to be able to bring both of them on the roster. And we'll look at it, week to week from here on out. But we feel, having the option of both of those guys on the roster this week plays into our favor. That's what you always try to do, man, is source through every different scenario and every different roster move and what we feel is best for our team.
What do you feel that the two of them will bring together as a running back unit?
Yeah, obviously familiar with AJ and what he can do, in a playoff environment. Both of them protect the quarterback extremely well. Both of them can catch out of the backfield. AJ's tough to bring down on any given day. When the weather gets colder, I find that, he kind of likes that kind of party. And Q is an explosive back with the ball in his hand. So, I don't want to say it's thunder lightning kind of deal, but they've both shown to be excellent players in this league, and we're lucky to have them both.
Peter Godber draws back into the lineup, but won't start. He'll be your sixth offensive lineman. What does that say?
Yeah, Peter's a another guy. You know, when he went down, we weren't really sure if there was going to be an option for him to come back. He's worked his tail off, man, to get in this position. And to be honest with you, I'm happy as ever that he's gotten here, and you know he's going to be able to help us, you know, as the sixth. But as we talk to, you know, how our O-line's been playing now, finally we've had a little bit of continuity there. You know, you kind of just want to keep rolling from that standpoint. Communication. Logan's been playing excellent at center. Brammer, we believe, you know, brings another element playing at guard. So when you're walking into a game and Peter Gobber is your sixth, you're pleased with that.
There it is, from the horse's mouth, as they say, how they made it work, and both are in the lineup. Very curious to see how this shakes down.
Well, I also, too, is how hard of a conversation is that to have with Anthony and Linear to be like, hey, you know what, you're not going to be in the lineup.
Oh, absolutely.
Long-standing rider.
Absolutely.
Been here through some of the good and the bad.
Yep.
But he's been hurt.
Yeah, no, and it's
came back but that's the thing. Decisions have to be made, and it's like, you know, this is where if you're a team guy, you're a team guy. But that's not. It's one thing when you're telling a first year guy, but like a vet.
Going back to all of our movies that we've seen, have you guys seen Jerry Maguire?
Tell me you've seen Jerry Maguire.
What?
Oh my God!
Please, this weekend, try and watch Jerry Maguire, because on the heels of that, as we throw to break, one of the quotes is, "It's not show friends, it's show business." It's the All New SportsCage on the stream, sportscage.com. It's Friday night. If you want to watch a high school football game, that is one of the things to do in and around. It's Leboldus and Campbell tonight, but 9 p.m. is the deadline to get in for the Kenaston Super Draft. Why do I care? Why do I want a Kenaston Super Draft? Because it's the longest running, it's the biggest draft in the history of sports draft. 90,000 in total prizes, 20,000 for first place.
Who's got Sergei Zubov? Is he still available? Is he on the board? Can we take him?
He's currently out with a lung injury from smoking too much.
I love any professional athlete that smokes while playing their pro sport.
Yeah, it's like Guy Lafleur was like the famous
who are some of the how many Vegas Golden Knights do we have?
Okay, we're pretty much we got the Ryden and Petrangelo for Vegas, and then we got Mark Stone, Carlson, Eichel, Barbashev. Shea Theodore is the only one in the boxes that we can take, unless we want to write him on. Do we take Shea Theodore? We got 10 guys left to take. Joining us on the line, longtime listener of the show, Sask Lotto Lawrence from up in Saskatoon. You've almost won this super draft. We don't want to get into how much cash you've won in the years. You've won the weekly prizes, Lawrence. What is the key? What is the key for people to the Kenaston Super Draft regular season style?
Well, don't get sucked into the early points. And if a guy like Mark Stone, flip the hockey card over, and you can see the back of the card. The guy's injured, and I mean he's off to a good start, of course, this year. But you gotta trust it's an 82 game schedule, and you got to play the full season in order to be in the top 30.
Okay, so we're like all over the map here. There's a lot of teams that we haven't taken anybody for. We only have one Toronto Maple Leaf. Let's start there. We got Austin Matthews.
You got to take teams that score a lot of goals. The Leafs do score a lot of goals because they can't defend anything. So their only way of winning is scoring goals. So Nylander, of course, he had a big year last year. He'll do it again. Marner, over a point a game, playing with Matthews. Those three guys guaranteed.
Okay, so we got 3 of those guys now added to. So we're down to, we need 8 more guys. We have nobody from Pittsburgh. They don't score a lot of goals.
Will Crosby is still going to get you 80 points. So that's going to be in the top 30.
Okay, we're taking Crosby then.
He's durable, and he'll play the full season.
Nashville Predators. Should we be taking any Nashville Predators?
Philip Forsberg had a big year last year with 94 points in 82 games. I like Philip Forsberg to crack the top. Even if he drops 75 points, even if he drops that far down, still going to probably crack the top 30. Philip Forsberg is a guy I like.
I watched him play a couple weeks ago against the Detroit Red Wings, so we don't have any Red Wings as well. He touched the puck a lot.
And he's got a beauty duster. And I'm not a mustache guy, but he's got a great mustache.
20-some minutes, right? Lots of power play time. He's the guy in Nashville. He's the only guy I think I would take there. Stamkos. He's a good guy on a weak team. If you want to take a weak team later on in January, Stamkos might find his game. by then, and then help you on a weak team.
And speaking of Nashville, poor Nat Lazon's face yesterday. Man, Colson from the Oilers, man.
Since when does he fight?
Exactly. And maybe he should more.
Read the game notes, Colby Armstrong style.
Wow. That was like Dave Brown against Jim Kite or something.
Southpaw. Okay, this is a problem, fellas, right off the hop that we need to tackle here. How much time do we got? We got about a minute, and we got 2 minutes left. We don't have any Florida Panthers.
What?
Okay, well, Matthew Tkachuk's off to a rough start, but like I said, trust the 82 games, trust the guy. Matthew Tkachuk is a guy. Reinhart off to a good start. Now Barkov had 4 points today, and they're playing in Finland, right? And he had 4 points today. He had missed 8 games. I still think because Florida and those 3 guys get a lot of points, he gets crapped the top 30. So I like Barkov, Tkachuk, and Reinhart there.
Should we be taking Connor Bedard?
No.
Okay.
Not enough scoring in there yet. So he doesn't get enough piggyback points, right? He's got to create all the offense himself. And it's just not happening there.
That's why we have this guy on. Smart. Okay, who are we missing, like piggyback points? Let's go with that. Just around, you know, we don't have anybody from Washington. We don't have anybody from Utah. Philly, nobody. Ottawa, nobody.
Well, Ottawa, I mean, Brady Tkachuk and Stützle, lots of minutes, probably going to be in the 75 to 80 points. So likely them two. That would be all I would take from Ottawa. I like Winnipeg. I like Kyle Connor. He's out to a good start. He missed a lot of games last year. If he stays healthy, he's an 80-point guy. Scheifele, there's another guy with him. So I like them too on a team. They score quite a few goals, Winnipeg. So I like them too there.
We only have one Dallas Star, Jason Robertson.
And he's off to a rough start this year. But again, 106 points 2 years ago, 80 last year. He should be a good enough guy to get into the top 30.
Is Logan Stankoven one of those guys that's going to get some bonus points?
Those guys, it's after Robertson, it's 65 points for about 4 or 5 guys, right? And he's one of them, right? So we got Rope Hintz, you got Stankoven, Duchesne. Yeah. They're all going to get about that same one. Not going to get into that next category, into the top 30, I believe anyway.
Should we be writing anybody in that's not on this? It's an absolute dark horse for Sasquatch Lawrence.
Only looking at that is in playoffs. You're writing guys in playoffs. There's nobody in the write-off here that you write in that I would consider.
I wrote in Pietrangelo from Vegas. Should I cross that off?
You're lucky to get 60 points out of him.
Okay, so I'm crossing him off. I'm glad we had this conversation.
We don't have Jake Gunsel. Tampa Bay scores a lot of goals. I wouldn't hesitate to take 4 or 5 Tampa Bay guys. Their power play is deadly. Right?
Gunsel.
Draws point. You got Gunsel coming over from Pittsburgh. He's going to take that Stamkos role. Victor Hedman, Brandon Hagel. He had 75 points last year.
Jeez.
The Hagel Bagel.
They scored a lot of goals.
Okay, I think it might be over 32. I got to count here, but it all ends. Lawrence, thanks so much. Let's do this again. Thanks so much for hopping in. I know you're a savant when it comes to this, and let's see how the Sports Cage does.
Thank you, Barney. Take care.
Right on. A lot of Lawrence. He's a beauty. It ends 9:00 tonight. You got to get it in. Superdraft.com. You can get 7 for $200. If you got friends, 7 for $200. One is $40, and it's all for the Kenniston Lions Club. Superdraft.com. See, All New SportsCage, we've got 1 hour to go. We got Luc Mullinder after news. If you're watching that stream, there's the sport. There it is right there. Superdraft. SportsCage.com. 1 more hour of the show. If you've missed any of it, go back, listen to it in podcast form. Go back and watch it on YouTube. Dave Thomas joining us earlier talking about the rider changes. Farhan Lalji. We had NASCAR, which was a lot of fun. Craig Reynolds in hour 2. That was a great Foam Lake guy coming in and chatting, and then some fun there with Lotto Lawrence and the Kenniston Super Draft.
So one of the things that we discovered today, and the beauty of this so far with the double C's on the other side, Curtis and Colson, they're a little younger than both of us. We've been talking about movies they've seen and haven't seen because I had said I have never seen The Godfather. And to this point, it's like, well, if I don't see it, then that's a unique conversation piece. And we started talking about all the movies that we haven't seen, and we just found out that neither of them, working in sports, have seen the movie Jerry Maguire. We're going to bring Luc Mullinder on here in a second. And I bet you dollars to donuts that if you are a pro athlete, that's required viewing. Moneyball, Jerry Maguire, all of that. Like, how can you not show me the money? Like, you guys don't have any idea where that came from. It's not just a meme. It was part of a movie.
Hey, look at them on the other side, just shaking.
No clue.
Both shaking their head. Yeah, we're going to get to Luc here right away. Just we got to tee up 6 o'clock kickoff at Mosaic Stadium. City Championship, high school football, Leopoldus and Campbell. Also under the orange top tonight, the Regina Pats are home to the Medicine Hat Tigers. One of the top players in the country for the Medicine Hat Tigers, Gavin McKenna, Connor Bedard's cousin, coming into town. That Medicine Hat, Willie Desjardins, that team is really good. You want to go watch them. That puck drop at 7 o'clock. It's right here on 620 CKRM with Dante DeCaria as well. SJHL, I forgot to mention this. We're in the 5 o'clock hour. The Saudi Mainline Chrysler worth the drive game of the weekend for that Benny. Forgot to talk to about you guys, but you mentioned to me Weyburn and Kindersley.
Weyburn Kindersley. Okay. At lunchtime, I saw the Larange Ice Wolves bus over by the Ramada. They're in Melville tonight. Now, that Larange bus, it looks like it's from Larange. It was awesome. It's beauty. It has some war scars on it.
Kevin Kaminsky is the head coach.
I know. Dude, it's still one of my favorite all-time Saskatoon Blades. One of the favorite Western Hockey League players.
Making it look mean.
Exactly.
So the Mainline Chrysler worth the drive, Southeast Saskatchewan. Hey, just in November here, get this one. You get $20,000 off MSRP on Ram 1500, Dodge Durango, Jeep Grand Cherokees. That's a lot of money off. Yeah, and snow's coming, so get a 4x4. Color Man on 620 CKRM for the broadcast tomorrow. Luc Mullinder joining us. Luc, what do you figure about these two guys working a sports talk show here? On the other side, they have not seen Jerry Maguire. Like, can you fathom that?
No and yes. This generation.
Hold on, go back. Rewind. No, and let's get to the yes part. I want to be Dr. Phil. So on that yes part, why would you say yes on that?
Because their generation, they have all their priorities screwed up, and I think that, right, like, they're so busy protesting stupid things that they just don't sit there and they don't find quality of life in the things that are out there to enjoy. And I think that their generation just does everything they can to avoid true happiness. So that's why they avoid things like movies and stuff. Sorry, Colton, I gotta tell the truth there, brother.
Help me help you.
You had me at hello. Do you guys know that one?
It's a Kenny Chesney song as well. Like, how do you know?
I've heard that before. I don't know what it's from. No.
And then the great line in the bar when I was in my late 20s and that show came out was, you had me at Get Lost. You guys, you have to watch it.
Tomorrow, starting for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, there's another late scratch here to the depth chart. Rod Tidwell is now in at wide receiver. I don't know if anybody knows that if you're playing fantasy, but Rod Tidwell is getting the start.
Does he take a hit there?
I know. Does he?
And hangs onto the ball.
Was he? Oh yeah, it was Arizona. He was playing Dallas. Dallas doesn't hit that.
But to be fair, guys, but they also, his generation also consumes content a lot differently. So I think that if he was to ask us, well, have you seen, and then filled in the line with like some sort of reality show, right? They'd be all his friends would be like, oh man, I can't believe you haven't seen that series.
We got angry protester here.
Yeah, they're quizzing me really hard on like country gold music too, which I'm not too bad at. I listen to Colin a lot, but I was like, do you guys know who Travis Scott is? And they're like, no.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, Travis. I know Travis. Travis Scott is the baby daddy of Kylie Jenner's kid. So I know that. I just don't know his music, I think. And the part of it you played sounds terrible, by the way. But I do know who he is.
You brought up Dance Little Jean this week.
Oh, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Dance Little Jean. How can you not go? Every Saskatchewan wedding, that is a staple that will get played somewhere in the night.
One of the greatest written country songs that never got the notoriety. Dance Little Jean. Like when you really listen to that song. There's some good ones out there.
I didn't realize that Cadillac Ranch was a Bruce Springsteen song, like a lot of people, because all we ever knew was the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band version.
Hey,
we're losing Luke.
Tomorrow, there's a Kiss cover band playing at the Rider game, though. Everyone going. Kiss cover. What's your favorite Kiss song?
Oh, so you lost me here. Like country and like Kiss music, I just know Kiss is the band that sticks their tongue out. That's it.
So there was none of your old teammates at Michigan State, like nobody was a metalhead or a rocker that liked Kiss, like some D lineman that was 19th on the depth chart?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but they didn't get priority over the locker room music, so.
Rock and roll all night. Does that one ring a bell?
Party every day?
Detroit Rock City.
Oh yeah, well, that one song, yeah, obviously, right? But that's more of a. I mean, now we're back into the sort of successful sports genre songs, right?
Lick It Up.
Lick It Up.
Though I guarantee they're playing Lick It Up in that set tomorrow.
Like why the hell would you even name a song that?
Wow, let's look at some of the names of songs that are out there nowadays.
Right.
Like,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay. What were your immediate thoughts when you heard AJ Ouellette and Raquel Armstead are in the lineup tomorrow against the BC Lions?
Well, I think that when you look at the advantages that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have over the BC Lions, I think that the major advantage is on the line of scrimmage, both on the offensive line and the defensive line. And when you're in playoff football, it's all about being able to run the ball and control the tempo of the game. So when you have two really solid running backs playing in the game, hold on a second, guys. Luther, turn that down. Sorry. So when you have two running backs that are playmakers in it, you're a lot more dangerous. And I'm glad that they made that change. I think that this lineup, if I'm the BC Lions and I'm looking at this lineup, I'm saying to myself, well, we got to play a close to perfect game.
Okay, so if you're looking at it, defensive side of the ball, now you see both of these guys in, and now you got 24 hours to kind of game plan for it. What do you think they're going to throw at them as far as scheme, as far as alignment?
Well, I don't think the Riders are going to change much, right? We've seen them using receivers. We've seen them use Albert Awachi in and around the line of scrimmage, blocking guys off the edge. We've seen them running counter plays. I think that you stay the same. If I'm the BC Lions, I just have to mentally prepare for a physical four quarter battle. And that's where I think that the Riders have a specific advantage. So the Riders are just going to have to continue to, I think, just stay. You can't. So BC Lions, they're a big play offense, right? They're a big play team. So if the BC Lions come out and let's say worst case scenario, they jump out 14-0. If you're the Saskatchewan Roughriders, you can't automatically say, okay, we got to ditch the run game and we got to go to the pass game, right? You have to stay vigilant to the game plan going in, and I think that that's why you see Raquel Armstead, AJ Ouellette. I don't see them changing a ton. I just see them understanding that, hey, we have to move guys off the line of scrimmage. And you guys are using clips from the last time these teams played. Look at the line of scrimmage. Look at the defensive linemen. Those guys are off level. They're off the line of scrimmage, right? Nobody's in the right gap. That's where the advantage is for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Luke, when it comes to the playoffs, all the regular season stuff goes out the window, and you see guys that maybe didn't show up, but next thing you know, they're writing their own story, and it's becoming legendary. I mean, you played with one of the best in Darian Durant. Sometimes guys put teams on their back, and they will teams to victory. A guy like VA who can run and can use his arms, I'm worried about that and he's got a lot to prove. And he's got some good receivers. And we were talking about in that first game when the Riders got the upfield pressure. And I remember listening to you and Dave that, let's say Malik Carney doesn't stay, you call it gap sound or gap solid, and he decides to cheat a little, and then VA goes to the outside. How important is that going to be tomorrow, that gap solid, so VA doesn't take off around the edge?
Yeah, VA is one of the best quarterbacks at extending the play and then finding guys downfield. Right? I mean, you look at the season that Justin McInnis had. It was an incredible year, and those two just understood that there were times where the play was going to break down, VA was going to get out of the pocket, and Justin needed to go and find an open spot on the field. And more times than not, he found it. And what makes VA so tough to scheme against guys is that you have to get to him because he's a deep ball quarterback. He wants to throw deep. I mean, you look at his average pass depth. It's 14.2 yards per pass, right? So he's looking beyond the sticks every single time he passes. So you have to get to a quarterback like that, but you also can't allow him to break contain because that's where he's going to extend the play. So it's tough, but you've got to be disciplined in your assignments. You got to be disciplined in your lane and pass rush distribution. That's why this is the playoffs. You're going to play the elite teams, and every team is going to be very good at one thing, and that's what VA is good at. He's good at finding an open receiver downfield. They look to press the ball. They look to get those plays over 20 yards, and they can't. So, again, do you employ the blitz? Absolutely. What does that mean, though? You can't miss a tackle if you do, because if you get home on the blitz and you miss a tackle, someone's going to be uncovered. Someone's going to be deep, and someone's going to have an opportunity for a big play.
We were talking to Farhan, and Farhan says the teams that have had success against VA, really, they just play coverage. They don't blitz as much, right? They play coverage, get them frustrated, like you're talking about. You talk about obviously breaking contain, and that's always a problem. We talked about Damon Allen, Tracy Ham, Doug Flutie, any quarterback, any football. So as a defensive lineman, what will be the game plan there, Luke? And then second part to the question, what different wrinkles would you throw in tomorrow that they maybe haven't seen?
So game plan wise, I think that you go into the game and you say, look, first things first, stop the run. They've got William Stanback. He rushed for over 1,000 yards this year. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. But the reason why you say stop the run is because you want this team in 2nd and 7+, because that gives the ability to pass rush. When this team specifically is in situations like 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, not only do you have the run available, but you also have, because, teams go for it on 3rd down if it's 3rd and 1.5, 3rd to 1, right? But you also have the play action available to you as an offense in BC. And that's the dangerous piece of that. That'll get dangerous for the Saskatchewan Roughriders because obviously what play action does is on the run fake, the linebackers are sucking up a little bit more. They're not bailing out into coverage, right? Because they've got to respect the ability for the BC Lions run. So I think that you just understand. And again, I wouldn't say you don't pass rush, but if you are blitzing or you are a guy that you have a one-on-one, is Micah Johnson going to get a ton of one-on-ones? No, not really. But again, you've got to win your one-on-ones when you get them, but you can't. So for instance, you can't, if you're above the quarterback when you rush the passer as a defensive end, okay, and you see that VA is underneath you, you have to stop. You've got to come back around because he's going to go underneath you, right? You just have to understand where you are in relation to where the quarterback and the quarterback launch point is at the present time.
What defensive side of the ball? Now, if you're sitting in Vancouver, you're flying, you're here sitting at the hotel right now, and you hear that Armstead and AJ Ouellette are both playing, do you now sit down as a group and change game plan, or do you say, no, we're sticking with what we have, it's just about execution, we know what we can do?
Yeah, no, it's at this point in time, if I'm defensive coordinator Ryan Phillips and I'm in my meeting room today after the guys go and get something to eat or before they go and get something to eat, I'm saying, guys, I don't care if they're running Derrick Henry out there. This is about us. This is about the gaps that we play inside of. This is about us knocking guys backwards off the line of scrimmage. The secondary, this is about us playing the deep ball if they throw it up there to Emelis better than we've ever played it before. Again, it's the playoffs. It's not about fooling the team, right? It's simply about execution. And these two teams, right, these two teams specifically, when they have made mistakes against each other, the opponents made them play. So again, if I'm Ryan Phillips, one of the big pieces that I need to have my players understand is if we get an opportunity to tackle somebody, he needs to go down immediately. We cannot miss tackles against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They're good enough as it is. Don't miss tackles. And I think also both teams come into this game saying, listen, the other big thing is we cannot kill or we cannot extend plays. We have to be disciplined football clubs. Both of these teams played well discipline-wise over the last 3 quarters of the year, okay? But in the playoffs, everything has a microscope on it, right? And these 15-yard penalties, if you get them a holding penalty that kills a first down or kills a touchdown. Those are season defining when it comes to the playoffs.
So a lot of everybody that's talking about this game, no matter what media you're covering it, everybody's kind of got their, the storylines that they think. But tomorrow, by about 8:30, there's going to be 3 or 4 storylines that'll be written that maybe nobody has touched on. A couple of things, and this is important because it's playoff football. So, special teams. Stephen Flintoff, BC, pretty good year, 47.77 yard average. Adam Korsak, Saskatchewan Roughriders, 47.2 yard average.
Hey,
you both got good punchers.
This isn't the stat nerd show.
No, listen, I'm going stat nerd here. Just a second. Brett Lothar, 53 field goals. Sean White, and Sean White has consistently been one of the better field goal kickers and one of the better kickers. And it's funny in special teams because here's the weird thing, and we've seen this before. Hitting an upright on an extra point. Well, there's one there. The punt that goes into the end zone that gives you the point as opposed to the field position. All of that kind of stuff can come back and play so big in playoff football, where I think sometimes we overlook that. We're only looking at the Trevor Harris, the VA, the running backs, and the big receivers, but it's the small stuff. Like Luke said, that one penalty,
the discipline,
that instead of that first down, now you're 1st and 20, or it's that objectionable conduct. It's that little bit after the play because you're a little hyped that is going to punch you back 15 yards. And then if you don't convert, because look at in the Winnipeg game, Montreal had the ball back twice. And if they would have got another one set of first down, they could have run out the clock on Winnipeg, and they didn't. They weren't be able to move the ball. And then look what happens.
The reason why I think that you don't emphasize special teams this year, or not this year, excuse me, when it comes to the playoff games. And you're right, Maz. They're incredibly important. Any point is worth its weight in gold at this point in the season. But if you want to advance, and we've talked about this probably the last 6 weeks, I've mentioned this every single time. The teams that advance in the playoffs, and this is why we don't talk about special teams a ton. The teams that advance in the playoffs are the teams that cross the goal line with the football. Mm-hmm. You have to score in the playoffs. You can't get away with kicking 7 field goals. The Riders aren't going to win if they kick in 7 field goals, right? Like you have to, and that's why, for instance, your offensive coordinator becomes incredibly important here because the difference between 3 points and 6 points, it means everything in the world during playoff time. Right, so the Riders can't come out here and string that, and that's why you talk about discipline, right? Let's say you've got 3rd and 1, okay? If you're down by, let's say you're down, whatever you're down or whatever you're up, but it's a critical point in the game. The game was close. You're 3rd and 1, okay? Your offense. An offensive lineman gets hit with a procedure call. You're now looking at potentially extending a drive in a critical moment or scoring to now going 3rd and let's say 6 and kicking a field goal, having it be a no-brainer, right? Like that's why things like discipline right now, they're of the utmost importance. You can't kill or extend plays.
Trying to look up who the reffing crew is.
Have they announced that yet? Here's the thing. I always used to think Andre Proulx was not a friend of the Saskatchewan Roughriders as far as when we drew him. But I think it was always Tom Valesi that ended up being the worst, but he's retired. So who do we want tomorrow? Who is
Kyle McIntyre?
We want Andre Proulx's crew. We want Andre Proulx's crew. Yep, we want Andre. Andre Proulx's the best referee in the league. And I know that people don't like him. I know that it's easy to poke fun and make fun of his accent, but again, he's the guy you want in the playoffs because he's probably your most consistent guy, right? You know what you're going to get out of it. And again, you don't want the refs to be a big deal in any playoff game. Right?
No, my big fear is, I'm just sitting here as a fan. I don't want the command center involved at all. Let everything be clean as it is. It's either for us or against us.
Yeah.
But let's not get into video football because then
That's
all
scary.
no, it's true. Like we mentioned the tie in Ottawa, it's kind of okay because it kind of saved us. But that kind of stuff where, sure, if it can really help, but if it has to come to that, it's kind of like just let's not into that.
You know what you're talking about? You're talking about the same thing Dave and I have been talking about again all year. It's controlling the things that you actually control and not letting the pieces of this game that aren't in your control affect the game, right? And that's one of the things. You can't control the referees. You can't control the command center, but you can control whether you're executing and you're playing clean football, right? Like there's things that, and that's why the playoffs are the playoffs, because every moment matters a lot more. It's the most important real estate. We've gone from north of Dudney real estate to those bougie Wascana place houses. That's where we are right now, boys.
NOD, baby. Doug Wickenheiser Arena tonight. Pat Blues tailgate on me. Okay, here. This is an honest question, Luke.
Right.
And then have you guys ever watched the Do Your Job on the New England Patriots after they beat Atlanta?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the coaching staff, Belichick and all them, went through who the referee crew was for that Super Bowl, and they went through what penalties, analytics-wise, what penalties they like to call, how they like to call them. Would you guys, like, I remember Chris Long knew that ref called a certain hold and it was crucial in the game, and they called it. They went through it. They knew it. Would you guys go that deep, Luke? Would you guys be going that deep? Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
They go that deep now. I mean, big time. I mean, football. You take football out of it. I mean, big time business. It's all analytics these days, right? And if there's an edge, so if you know, for instance, that the refereeing crew that you have leads the league in holding calls on offensive linemen, guess what you're probably going to make sure you're doing this practice and during the game? Keeping your hands inside, right? Because, again, you can't kill drives and plays in the playoffs.
Well, look at the Kelsey Brothers podcast when they had Julian Edelman on, because they talked about Edelman always wore red gloves, and then Travis Kelce says that everybody now wears red gloves against him because they wear red jerseys and you can't see the hold. Yeah. Like it's that if the Lions are wearing white jerseys tomorrow, you're wearing white gloves, so they can't see what's going on. Yeah, like I don't care what it is, because it's those tiny little things.
So, okay, do we trust odds makers? Odds makers are smarter than us.
Okay, what's Vegas saying?
Riders 3.5. Over under?
Nope.
51.
I'm taking the under.
I'm taking 51. I'm taking the over.
Oh.
I'm taking the over. I'm taking the Riders on the money line, but I'm taking the BC spread.
Oh,
this is the playoffs, man. This is the playoffs. These games are going to be close. And
see, now, Luke, I want to believe that, but you and Durant both said that the 50-50 at Labor Day was going to be $800,000, and it ended up being $1.2 million.
Yeah, well, I guess that all the people complaining about the economy, they found money that they
found. Hey, speaking of the economy, so what did you hand out for Halloween last night? What was going on at the Mullinder house? First of all, what was your son Luther dressed as?
Yeah, so Luther was a NASA astronaut. It was a phenomenal costume. We handed out we just went to Safeway, got the 50 burger and the 30 burger bag of candies, and we handed. But the reason why we did that is because we're not on a bay that gets a lot of folks coming by. So we're going to average probably between 10 to 20 kids.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So for us, it's more about volume in terms of effort, right? So
I was just going to say he's one of those. Oh, can you sing? You probably had to sing a song for Luke to get candy out of that guy. They don't make kids do that anymore. This generation, they're not built for that, Luke. You know that.
Well, there was one lady. And
ready to sue you
in a specific area of the city. I'm not going to name it. Harbor Landing. She wanted a conversation with my son and his friend, and B, like when they turned around and they said thank you, I heard it. She didn't hear them say thank you, and she's like, "Hey, what do you say?" The kids were looking at him like, "Hey, don't worry, we said thank you. We said happy Halloween." So yeah, you know what?
It's like
good. But what I meant by volume effort is not about the candy we hand out. It's the houses and doors that it's like the politics, right? It's how many doors you're willing to knock on.
Oh, I know. And as a kid, because that was your one time a year to go crazy for candy, so you went to as many houses as possible.
It's an odds thing.
You know what?
I know.
Increase your odds.
I wasn't able to trick or treat as soon as I hit 11. My mom stopped my trick-or-treating, and it's because I was big and I was tall, and she didn't want, she's like, you're too big to go out trick-or-treating, like, you know what I mean, like you're the size of the teenagers, and parents look, so my Halloween career and my trick-or-treating career was short-lived.
You should have put the shoes on your knees and walked, like that costume. Where you're like, then you're half the size. No, hey, speaking of Harbor Landing, I got to call this one out. My daughter was up in there yesterday trick-or-treating. Smarties, awesome. Smarties, perfect. Great Canadian treat.
No, kids hate them.
But they opened them all up, put them in a bowl, and they handed them out with their hand. So my daughter pulled the bag away right at the right time. She's like, no,
Are you serious?
I ain't doing that smoke. No. Yeah, man. Up in
That's the weakest thing I've ever heard. Yeah.
Hey, it's a tough economy, all right?
And even one better, my son went to a place and the guy went and grabbed the treats and a cat was sitting on it. Put the treat in and it was all warm. And it smelled like cat. It's weird stuff going out there, boys. There's weird stuff going on out there.
Well, I noticed a lot of parents yesterday, and it was a nice day, driving their kids around trick-or-treating, and I'm like, that would be the day at the Masrick household that mom and dad would be driving us around to go hustle candy. But
well, I seen one kid. I seen two. They were brother and sister, but they would get off out of and the car followed them. They had like their own private escort. They just followed them around the block. That was pretty cool. But yeah, again, I don't know how you guys are too, but I'm also not a group parent activity Halloween person. Like, there's a lot of like parental groups that go out and they I don't want to do all that.
I saw a picture on Instagram today where the parents dressed as the cast from Happy Gilmore. Like, you had everybody from Happy to the grandma to the reporter girl that Happy ends up with to Shooter McGavin. I'm like,
I'll tell you what,
that is way too much work.
But there was a group of houses that they took full advantage. Like they had some adult beverages and they just set up in front of one of their houses and they just were yelling, "Hey, we're the group for those next 5 houses." And they looked like they were having fun. But that seemed fun. But like walking as a group of parents and talking, and I don't know, man. I don't have anything for
Lone wolf. Luke's lone wolf. Okay, we're almost out of time on the program. This has been awesome. Okay, have a great call tomorrow, Luke.
Luke, no sandwiches. Did you get the memo that there's a pregame meal in the press box an hour beforehand?
Yeah, so did you guys get the memo that because of the fact that there's a pregame meal 1 hour before the game, I am no longer coming on the pregame show 1 hour before the game. I will be eating. Dave's got to do it all.
We'll just rerun this.
Yeah.
This is gold. Thank God this is a podcast.
I'll just text my 3 keys to Duncan Dave, from the but I'm pumped up, man. Look, guys, it's going to be a great game tomorrow. These two, it's tough to call. It is tough to call tomorrow, man. I'm pumped.
We had Reynolds on an hour ago. We said, how nice is it to be talking about football this time of year instead of off-season junk like they are already in Calgary? And he's like, yeah, this is great. For us to still be in the mix at Rider Nation, and I don't care, like I said, everyone is a little nervous, but it's better to have this kind of nervous feeling as to, hey, when does the season start next year?
Listen, you know what? In this case, nerves are always good. Nerves mean 2 things. It's important to you, and you're prepared for it, period. It's the reason why. If you're not nervous, you're like me. You know when I wasn't nervous? When I had a presentation in high school. Want to know why? Because there was no prep that I had done. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I was just going to go out there and talk for 20 minutes. Okay?
Luc Mullinder, no show prep guy.
Right?
And his mom didn't let him trick or treat.
But if you're nervous, it means something to you.
Okay. Tell Luther to crank up Kiss. We're done. Right. Have a good call. Have a good call tomorrow. See you, buddy.
All right, boys. See you tomorrow.
What the hell?
Luther in the background getting one in. That's a clip for all time right there. It is the All New SportsCage streaming if you're watching it at sportscage.com. You brought up a good point about Luke. He doesn't want to go hang out with the buddies.
He doesn't want to go group trick-or-treating with other parents, so I'm assuming don't invite him to go Christmas caroling either.
No. Yeah. Hey.
Something tells me he's not in the Office Secret Santa sweepstakes either.
Oh, no, I hate those things. Did you see there's some email about the Christmas tree? I have zero interest. Like, people are like, I'm like, no, the gift exchange, no. I
didn't see that email.
I don't care.
Maybe I
haven't seen it eiting. Might have just come out then.
I don't get a lot of emails, but that one I'm like, yeah, that is no interest.
6 o'clock. So in about 20 minutes time. kickoff, Mosaic Stadium, city final, high school football, Campbell the Boldest going on. There are so many games. We had our Southie mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks, worth the drive every time. We had that SJHL tonight, Weyburn Kindersley. That's a big game. Notre Dame Battleford, Estevans in Yorkton, and then Melville hosting those guys on the bus from Larange, Kevin Kaminsky's boys.
What did you say? Making it look mean.
And then the Regina Pats.
Tonight, Medicine Hat Tigers are here. Pre-game show on 620 CKRM starts at 6:30. Play-by-play with Dante DeCaria will go at 7 o'clock. Some good college football this weekend. Number 1, Oregon playing Michigan. Do we feel like the Oregon Ducks are like a paper number 1? Like they're fake? They haven't beat anybody real?
They've Chip Kelly days, same thing. Like Oregon's, sorry, Namer, if you're out there listening in Kelowna. No, they're not going to win the national championship.
Number 2, Georgia plays Florida. That should be a good game.
I got a wager on Georgia.
Number 3, Penn State plays number 4, Ohio State. That could be the game of the weekend. Miami plays Duke. Miami quietly, what are they, 7-0? 8-0?
Yeah.
Nobody talks about them. And number 7, Texas plays Kentucky.
You know what else starts? It started last week, but tonight in the area, senior hockey is back. SportsCage is going to be all over it this year. In the Big Six tonight, Redvers is hosting the Oil Kings. Moosomin is hosting Mydale. Moosomin's supposed to have an unreal bar upstairs in their rink.
So is this regular season or is this preseason?
Regular season.
Oh, you didn't answer my question from last week. Do you get paid your bribe money in preseason and stuff?
I plead the fifth. Qu'Appelle Valley Highway Hockey League, Balgoni hosting Bethune. What else around this area? Delisle's hosting Eston. And the Notikeww, the Q, the little Div 3 action we call it on the Nooner. Gravelburg playing host to Cornack. And then there's a bunch tomorrow. Like Saturday, tomorrow in the Long Lake, Leroy Watrous, there's probably going to be, I would say, 10 guys with junior, college, pro experience in that game. It's going to be good. So, yes, senior hockey. We got a senior hockey report coming out on this program. When does it start? A couple weeks?
Couple weeks. So when you're in Watrous, if you win, do you go to the spa after, or do you go there before and pregame?
No, you go to the hotel. After, if you win, that's where you just, never mind, no spa. That hotel owned by Lane Manson.
Like of the Mansons?
Not, I don't know if he's related in that. Like
the
not Dave Manson.
Yeah.
Not Dave Manson as Ben and then Josh that plays for the Avs. This is different. Anyway, yeah, there's great little bar.
So is it sticks and gas and a bar tab? Is that part of it too? Like, because I don't like, or should it be? If it's not, like, do you negotiate that in?
What I was taught at a young age in Abbey, Saskatchewan, by the great Gord Davidson, who was a senior hockey guy, Unity, Allen Cup, is when you're getting your sticks and gas or your whatever, put a bunch of it back into the community. So I was buying rounds, I was buying pizza and wings, and yeah, people appreciate it. There's guys that just get out of Dodge, which that's not a good look.
So they hop in their truck or their Camaro and they just leave after the game?
Back then it was Sunfires and Cavaliers. And
you'd barely fit a hockey bag in there, let alone a girlfriend.
A Blazer. Lots of trips in the back of Ray Van Warmer's Sunfire. And Bohemian.
It's a secret economy, this thing. It's like an underground economy. It's its own thing.
It's wild. There should be a docu-series at some point on it. Just like high school, just like we're talking high school football in these small towns tomorrow. Like if you go around, like in Waka, in Rosetown, Lemberg, Hanley, Melfort, Delisle, they're gonna be packed. And then the next week is the provincial finals. We got to take Jamarcus Hardrick out if we can next week. Because I don't even know where the closest one would be. Lumsden, Melfort's gonna be a big battle. And then the other one I got my eyes on is Waka.
Take Jamarcus to the steak pit and let him order whatever. Colson's buying.
Throw out of the tab some of that Colson money.
I never got told about this.
Some of that.
It's live radio, my friend. Look, Luther Mullinder just made his appearance at the end of Dad's interview there with one of the all-time, will go down as one of the best clips ever. Oh, and by the way, Harbor Landing, sharpen up and turn up your hearing aid when the kids say thank you. Don't make them say it twice.
It's the All New SportsCage. Watching the stream. There you are. SportsCage.com. Clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. Not just one today. Clutch performer is all the high school football players playing this weekend, and then we're going to recap things on Monday. Send us the names. Send us hi@sportscage.com. Let us know what happens in each game. We'll give shout-outs. We love giving shout-outs. They're just quick little snippets, though. Don't send, long paragraph. Uncle Mo, who's been sending in all this information, it's amazing stuff. Give us some names. Always like to give the Clutch performer for Nick Service a Emerald Park to someone local out there. Have fun playing high school football. It's like the best time of your life ever. Canal movies. Varsity Blues. Oh, I don't remember that show. I got to watch it again.
And it's on TV quite a bit. I'll watch that.
I don't have just cable, but I'll watch it.
Tell me you got now. This sounds dumb even asking. James Bond, please.
I hate that. I'm in the dark on that too. Sorry.
What?
I've seen a handful. Yes, I couldn't tell you which ones off the top of my head right now, but definitely Casino Royale.
So are you saying that you've watched the newer Bonds but not the older, with
Correct.
the Roger Moore and the Sean Connery and all of that?
No, I have not sat down and watched the older ones. The only ones I have watched have been whatever the guy's name is. I can't remember him now.
Oh, the guy accent?
Most recent Bond, yeah.
Well,
Daniel Craig.
they all have an accent, Barney.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig. They're all British.
See, that's how much I know.
The James Bond with the accent. How come you've never seen James Bond?
What about the James? Isn't there a James Bond from Lloydminster?
No. There is a George. Yeah, it's funny. The Bond films. No, and that's talk about movies that come on. If they come on, it doesn't matter the Bond.
Really?
No. Pierce Brosnan. I wasn't a fan. That kind of late '90s, early 2000s kind of got a little weird. But most of them solid viewing.
Quickly before you go, favorite horror film all time?
Don't like horror movies.
You guys?
Can't do them.
I don't consider this a horror movie, but I think it was underrated. The original Scream. It throws you for an absolute loop at the end.
And you know what? Back on when was there a Friday the 13th in September? Because on one of the channels, the original Friday the 13th movie was on, and I think the last time I had seen that, and I was too young, but remember the days when you used to have to rent a VCR and you get it in that silver case? And you'd rent the actual movies, because I remember seeing it that way.
Or if you had the big satellite dish where you had to go outside and move it. And no, it's on A1. Whether the movie channel you want, it's on W5.
You had to be super rich to have a satellite dish. We didn't have air conditioning. Please, nobody had a satellite
and a microwave.
Nobody had a satellite dish where we lived.
Simpson, Sears,
I could only imagine where we lived, how fast that thing would have been stolen as soon as it would have been put up.
It's way too big. You couldn't stay those big ones, those old school ones.
Anyway. People will steal anything if you give an opportunity.
Prediction for the game tomorrow.
23-19 Riders.
Round the horn. Colson. Curtis doesn't like to play usually this fun stuff. What do you think?
35-17.
I'm going to go 23 for the BC Lions, 32 Riders. Covering the spread.
I'll go 21 Riders, 20 BC.
Oh, real tight. Rouge. Or just 3 straight touchdowns. Yeah, we got it. All right. It's been a good one for Nelson Holmes on Friday. We're back on Friday. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. What time does everything start? 1:30?
1:30.
1:30, Croft Electric pregame show.
You can start your own personal pregame show at any time, maybe at 9.
There we go.
Get the kids to drive you to the game.
Major League Baseball report with Dave Thomas. We'll talk to you again on Monday.
I'm Dave Thomas, and it's time for the Major League Baseball report for Shore-D Generators. Keep the power in your hands with an automatic standby generator from Shore-D Generators, the standby generator experts. The baseball season came to a close on Wednesday night when the Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series for the second time in 5 years with a come-from-behind 7-6 win over the New York Yankees in Game 5 of the best-of-7 series. Freddie Freeman was named the World Series MVP.
This is it right here, Buster. Oh, my word. This is what you set out to do every spring training in February. This is the ultimate goal, and for us to accomplish it with all the adversity we faced throughout the course of the year, injury after injury, to be down 2-1 in the NLDS and come back in that series, be down 5-0 today, that's the epitome of this team. They grind, we grind, and we showed it all day today what this team is about.
And he gave a lot of credit to his teammates and their composure when they were down 5-0 in the 5th inning of that 5th and deciding game.
Yeah, we were just saying, get one run. If we can get one run, we can do something. And obviously, we capitalized on some mistakes in that inning. That was huge. And, 2 out hits, I was able to get one. And then Teo, big one right there to tie the game. We got the game tied, and I can't say enough about the at-bats we put together at the end of the game. Gavin and Mookie, sac flies, absolutely incredible.
For former Toronto Blue Jays slugger Teoscar Hernandez, he was added to a lineup full of superstars, and he knew that it was going to be critical for them to coexist with one another if they wanted to be successful.
For me, when you have three players like that they've been great, they've been one of the best in their position for a long time, and you see the way they talk, the way they act, the way they work, the way they prepare for every game. It's just amazing because they have no ego. They just think they're just one more players in the clubhouse, and they just go from there. And when you see guys like that, working like that and thinking like that, you get better as a player, and obviously you make yourself work a little harder just to be like them.
So that'll do it for the MLB season. Pitchers and catchers will report to their spring training camp facilities on February 15th, 2025. And that's your Major League Report. For Short-E Generators, keep the power in your hands with an automatic standby generator from Short-E Generators, the standby generator experts. I'm Dave Thomas.